Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Duo Q, a podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life and video games. So, I'm just going to go ahead and get us started here with a little bit about who we are. So, my name is Nicholas, and my screen name is Matrona. I'm 23 years old. I've been playing video games since I was like 7 years old, and I do just about everything nerd with anime, comics, video games, video game design. I'm actually starting to dabble in D&D, which is one of the nerd hobbies that I've kind of avoided my entire life. I just never really found a group that matched what I wanted to do, or what I wanted to get out of the game. But that's just a little short introduction about me. I'm sure you'll learn much more about me over time and who I am, but I'm just your average gamer guy.
I'm Tyler. I go by Aqueous when it comes to my content creation or my attempt. I'm also 23. I have a separate gaming channel where I do primarily Honkai Star Rail content, but I'm also planning on branching into a few other things while keeping HSR as my main focus. I started doing live streaming a bit on the channel where I'm going through a full 4-person Baldur's Gate 3 run, with the other guy here, Nicholas, and also 2 of our other friends. Yeah, I'm from Johnstown, PA, but currently reside in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, you know how it be.
Yeah, we're actually both from Johnstown. That was where we grew up. We were there through all high school. It's a very small town, kind of poor. There's kind of like a drug problem in the lower city, but we grew up in the little happy. We grew up in the little happy, like middle class neighborhood where life was good and crime was minimal, and the high school was good. But yeah, we grew up there, and eventually we both do actually live in Pittsburgh. We live together, so that's pretty cool. We've been living together since we started going to college back in was it 2020?
2018.
20? You went right away. I joined later.
Oh yeah, you joined.
I think it was 2020 or 2019. I don't remember what it was.
Well, definitely wasn't 2020 because I was in college for a full 2 years.
Oh shit!
I actually think you joined the next quarter.
Fuck.
I think you joined in October, right?
Yeah. No,
of 2018. I went literally the month after we graduated. What a mistake.
Yeah, no, you went right away, and I think I did follow the next quarter after. I remember, and there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stories with that. Honestly, we'll have to talk about our college life. Probably at
we should
date.
definitely do that on a future.
Yeah, there's
episode.
so many. So I could honestly
we could
almost
get like half a
episode
video out of that, or half a
on its
podcast
own.
out of that. Yeah,
but
or a full one.
Yeah,
thought about everything.
It's crazy, but a lot of stuff happened. We have actually been friends. We did the math before the episode because, as two dudes who have been lifelong friends, we really don't bother to like keep track of dates. We don't have like a friend anniversary or anything. We just kind of know that we met in elementary school in 2nd grade. And we were on the younger half of our class, so we were both around like 7 at the time. And so when you run the math, it's been 16 years that we have both known each other, and we had our own little existential crisis because of that before we started recording.
Yeah, imagine knowing me for 16 years.
Yeah,
that is cringe.
There are also people in high school right now that weren't alive when we became friends. Like, and we're not old. We're not old. We're 23. Like, really think about that.
Yikes.
So yeah, it's been a long year, or not a long year. It's been many years. A long friendship.
It's been a long year.
I mean, Hey,
How is it already? Wait, no. That would actually be a fast year? It's
yeah,
halfway
no,
through February already.
no, yeah. I noticed that the more we age, the more that they say that the time just starts like moving faster. Is so true. Like when like when my parents and other older people like in my family used to be like, like cherish your young years, they fly by so fast, and like all this stuff. One, true, because like now I'm 23 and like my back hurts after work and I can't stay up as long as I used to. And I'm 23. It only gets worse. But I never believed them as a kid. It's like I feel like a lot of people go through that where they're like, your parents or your uncles or whatever, like at a family gathering, they're giving you all this like life advice, and you're like, okay, dude, you know, some of them still wrong, still disagree,
That's true.
but like a good amount of them, I'm like, how in the fuck are we in the middle of February right now? How is Valentine's Day over?
It feels
I
weird.
feel like we just
I feel
got
like
here.
I don't know why the days individually feel long as you're living them, and then like 3 months from now, we're gonna be like, we are almost halfway through the year.
Yeah,
We're almost at 6 months out of the year.
yeah.
How
Well,
is that?
well,
Like, where did it go?
well. See, the thing is like in a way, like when I look back on it, it even feels like our New Year's party was like 3 weeks ago, but it was over 2 months ago now. Like that's still at least in my
Honestly,
brain.
I do kind of feel like that was far away, but also at the same time, even though that was the start of the new year, I feel like this year has gone really fast. Even though it feels to me like the New Year's part, I don't feel like it was that far. I would say like 2 months, not 2.5 months, but 2 months.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay. It, but yeah, like the
I mean,
year,
that still doesn't help.
it just keeps going. It
That's
just
true.
keeps going.
That's true. Today's the 18th. Tomorrow will be the
Like,
19th.
oh yeah,
It's just gonna be that way.
it, it's
It is what it is.
I as I, as I look through and I go through my life, right? I am just like, holy hell. Like I was having a conversation with a buddy like last week, and we were talking about like, like as we said earlier, or as my buddy Tyler said earlier, we have been playing Baldur's Gate 3 together as like a big like four-man group, and we were talking about it the one day at work. And he was like, when are we gonna like duo through the game? Like do like a duo run through the game? And I was like, I mean, like if we just keep creating like multiplayer runs for every single like combination of our friend group, then like none of them are ever gonna get done. So I'd rather just wait for us to be done with like our current quad, and maybe like the next time we pick Baldur's Gate up in like 2024 is what I said. Not realizing at the time that it was already
Oh,
2024,
true.
that like in my mind that was the future. And I had that moment of realization
You're
where
in the
I was
future.
like, oh, it is 2024. It really is. And like I feel like I was thinking back on it when we were talking about like, when did I come to college to like to join you on the journey? And when I was thinking like, was it 2018, 2019, 2020? And I thought about it. I was like, now maybe I'm a boomer and I'm stupid, but wasn't 2020 COVID year?
Yeah. Yeah, 2020 was like peak COVID year. They called it
Oh
COVID-19
my
because
god.
like the first um signs of it popping up were at the end of 2019, and then it lasted through like all of 2020, where like no live events were happening. And that's also
Yeah.
because Alyssa, who is my girlfriend, who I'll talk about various points during this whole podcast, not this specific episode, but the whole podcast in general.
Probably this episode
Um,
too.
True, probably this
Vacation.
episode. True. Um, she was she went to the same college that we went to, but a year later because she graduated high school a year later. And So she was in college at the peak of COVID, where all the classes became online, and that was really hard to do the classes for her, because like, I mean, let's be honest, she just didn't wanna. I mean, she did it, but like, I feel like it is hard to motivate yourself when you're not like there, and it's hard to learn sometimes over the computer.
Oh, for sure.
But it was pretty good for our relationship because that would have been a world where she is gone at college for 2 years. After I had just been at college before I dropped out, um, for a few months before that, for like a half year. So that would have been 2.5 years we barely get to like see each other. And it ended up being the way that like she just has all of her classes and she gets to be at home in Johnstown with me the whole time while she's still doing college, which ended up pretty good. Pretty good. There wasn't a lot of struggle with that at all. Um, the unfortunate thing is like whenever she graduated, it took them a while for them to actually get a graduation ceremony going. So it was like I think a decent few months after they graduated where they actually did an in-person ceremony for it because they had to wait till all the COVID stuff died down.
Yeah. It's just that whole thing is crazy to me that like the statement COVID was 4 years ago is valid. Because like I feel like
Yeah, that hurts.
I still remember like sitting in my house rotting away, which I did every other year of my life, by the way. But with the
Face.
option being kind of like taken away, like I mean, we lived in America, all right. We didn't have like the death corps. We didn't have like troops patrolling who would like shoot you if you went outside. But it felt like it was very heavily encouraged that people should not go outside. And I thought at the time, especially, I was like, true, valid. So I was always like a homebody. I was always someone who just likes to stay inside a lot of the time. And it was weird because the COVID time was the one time it was like, yeah, but like now it's not a choice, and it felt like the same kind of thing where I did want to go out a lot more because I was definitely still inside more than most points in my life, and you know, when you get like that vitamin D deficiency from like not being in the sun, and you get that, what do they call it? Not hay fever, but some sort of like when you just sit in the house, most people just go crazy eventually. And I really felt that for during various points during peak COVID, during I had a lot of we both had a lot of work from home jobs where we just kind of signed into our computers and we worked in the same room that we slept in, and we ate in the same room that we worked and slept in, and you just live in this room for like 90% of your existence, and you just start going fucking crazy. So I kind of tie it back to like when you were gonna clean your room, but your mom told you to clean your room, and you were like, "Well, damn, I was going to, but
Not a lot.
now I just don't want to." And it was like that. It was like I always stayed inside, but then they were like, "Don't go outside." I was like, "Well, damn, now I really want to," but there was like nothing to do. So many businesses were closed. Either they chose to close or they were like forced to close, and it was such a strange time. There was so much panic and everything in the media. And to think that that was like 4 years ago, and to think that I wasn't even like allowed to drink back then, like legally, and other things like that, like,
Bro.
oh my God. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it really wasn't in a good way. It-
I, f- I feel like honestly had probably an opposite experience where even though I feel like I naturally am more inclined to go out more than you on average, whenever COVID happened, it was almost like a release of pressure. Like you don't have to go out because no one's
Yeah.
expecting you to. Because actually, the opposite. Everyone's expecting you to stay inside.
Yeah.
I still had my job at the fire hall for for actually the most part of COVID, because I actually didn't quit there until I think the exact date is October 9th of 2020. So after I had failed out of college in um, the very end of 2018, not I guess not failed out. I chose to leave. I didn't actually fail out, but um, I feel like when people say flunked out, it sounds like you failed out. Even
Yeah.
though like
It
the
sounds
so-called
like,
flunking whenever you decide to leave, it's still a
yeah.
flunk. I don't know, maybe I need the dictionary. I don't exactly know what the word flunk means. But anyway, oh no. Oh, yeah. I remember the exact day because I was working at the fire hall from whenever I left college, came back home, came back to live with my parents. And then uh from there until October 9th of 2020. So that's like a year and a half. And COVID basically started about halfway through that period, or a little more than halfway through that period, earlier. And I kind of liked it because the way that my job was at the fire hall is I had to do a lot of uh, banquet hall setups for events, like public events that people go
Yeah.
to. And all of that shut down. Government regulation, you can't do that anymore. That was the most annoying part of my job working at
Oh,
the fire hall,
I
for
remember so
sure.
many times that like I'd be like, "Hey, dude, you want to play some League? You want to hang out?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got to be at the fire hall for like 16 hours today." And like I was supposed to
Yeah.
be off today, but
Yeah, that was illegal.
but my dad is my but my dad is my boss, so he just decided I
Yeah.
was doing that. And
Also, like overnights and stuff whenever you're returning from one event to the other.
yeah,
Definitely my most hated part about the job. Everything banquet hall related, like setting up hundreds of tables and
yeah,
hundreds of chairs for these events and then tearing them down the next day and cleaning up people's mess, spilled alcohol all over these banquet hall floors, things like that. Cleaning bathroom. That is the absolute worst part of the job. And because of COVID, that shit was deleted.
yeah,
And
it's
that
gone.
was so great. I got to do all my favorite parts about doing the job. Like I liked riding the zero turn lawnmower
Uh-huh.
and just mowing grass. And we had like 3 different fire hall locations, so I got to do a lot of that. And honestly, that's what made me kind of like I've thought about in the past of like if I want to do a job, I might try some landscaping thing because I feel like in a way I like working outside. I feel like I'm just like free. I'm in the open. Not really whenever it gets cold out. Probably that's not as
Yeah,
fun.
slightly worse.
Um, things like that. All the worst parts of the job were taken away, and that was just such a good period of time. There's like no pressure to go anywhere. I remember wearing. I would like often like twice a week or so because
Mhm.
I like eating Chinese food so much. I would just get in the squad at any point, the truck at work, and just drive to Szechuan East, put on my mask, walk in, pick up my food that I had ordered like 20 minutes ago, go to the Solomon Run station, and just be by myself on a nice, like, summer day with a cool breeze under the pavilion and just eat my food. Life could be dream.
Yeah.
That was a fun job. It's incredible. I wish if I could change anything about that job, honestly, it wouldn't even be that banquet halls existed in the first place because I did that job for a total of like more than 4 years. And the reason why I didn't get extremely upset with it enough to quit, one probably because the pressure of my dad being my boss, but also because I liked it enough because it had enough aspects that I didn't hate, and it had a lot of variety in what I did during the day. Also, I had a lot of freedom. I wasn't like
Yeah.
permanently being watched over. We got hour-long lunches that was nice that we could take
Huge.
at any point during the day. It's just like, oh, I just got hungry, so like I'm gonna go do that.
Nearly
Unless
unheard
I'm
of
like
in most like
actually doing
workplaces
stuff.
now.
Yeah, it was just a job with a lot of freedom. I'm not locked in a building doing one thing, except under like fringe circumstances. But that would just be like for one day where I have to set up for a massive event or something.
Yeah, you also had to do like fish fry and stuff for Lent, right? Like all that kind
That
of
actually
stuff.
was completely no. It was separate. Whenever I didn't work at the fire hall, because whenever I was growing up, my dad would always make me do it, even though it's a volunteer thing. Not really volunteer.
Real.
But you would get some of the. To be fair, I would do it. I do have good memories from doing that. That's why I've also considered if waiters didn't get paid. If waiters got paid, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
If waiters
it's
didn't
true.
get paid what they got paid, I would have definitely considered that a path because of what I did.
It's a good way to put it.
Because I actually had a lot of fun with that. It's just something that like I didn't want to do it, but once I'm there, I'm not like completely hating my life.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, we got a big check. All the tips that anyone got during fish fries, and that goes for like the entirety of Lent, every Friday during Lent. We got at the end, so we got I got like over $100 every year at that point because I spent a few Fridays there. But whenever I started working at the fire hall, not only was I still able to get like the tips, but it was a part of my work day on Fridays to just work the event. So I got paid hourly to just do the same thing I volunteered a lot of time doing before.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, not a bad thing. But what I was saying before, the only thing I would change about that job, if I could just instantly go back in time and do it, be how much I got paid.
Yeah.
I was also really good at
Yeah.
saving money at the time. Whenever I quit that job, I had a decent amount of money. I'd like, well, at least for my age, probably. I had like $4,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that I was managed to save that much with how little I was getting paid. Legit minimum wage, $7.25. After working there for over 4 years, I had finally gotten it to $10 an hour after COVID, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's painful to listen to, huh? Yeah, like
that is rough. Thinking about how I did that.
Think about how we make more than double that now.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We got hired on for more than double what I got hired on at the fire hall.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we make more too. Yeah.
True. Almost making double what I ended up with whenever I stopped.
Yeah.
That could happen if Sean quits. Or we get our raise in the summer. But anyway, yapping about that. The whole way I got on that topic was I remember the exact date that I quit because I actually went on my first trip to Florida with Alyssa and her mom and her stepdad. We flew down there, and that is by far the best vacation I've ever had in my life, because basically what happened is her mom and VG, who is her husband, drove his truck down with his motorcycle on the trailer in the back. Yeah. And Alyssa and I flew down and met them there. So it was an easy hour and a half, 2 hour flight. We got off, we got picked up, and then basically they rode their motorcycle around everywhere. VG just basically gave me the keys for his truck and said, yeah, you can just go anywhere, anytime. You can use the truck the whole time we're here. So Alyssa and I spent every day, we were just looking up things to do, and every single day we would do fun stuff. We went to we did cute little couple things like mini golf and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
Went to the beach, did cool other things like see alligators, go on an airboat ride.
Oh yeah.
The guy was nice enough to take us on a tour for that.
So when you went on the airboat ride, did you actually see alligators in the water during that point, or did you just kind of see them as you were roaming the Florida wilds?
It was funny because we took the airboat ride through the swamp,
Yeah.
and I didn't see any alligators during the airboat ride through the swamp. It's
Yeah.
kind of odd. I expect. He said that usually you see them. I
Yeah.
expect maybe we just got a lot of unluckiness mixed with the fact that the airboat's loud.
Yeah.
So they probably just like heard that and said, I don't know what's coming, but like, I'm gonna just head out. But while we were there at the place that we got the airboat ride from, there were just alligators sitting below the balcony, like
Yeah.
on the water's edge, and you could just walk over, look over, and it's like, oh, there's just like two alligators there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There was an
they're just
alligator chilling by the airboat before like he walked up to it, and then it like went back into the water. I'm like, people are nuts. Yeah, it's
Dude,
dinosaurs down here,
bro.
but they're badass animals.
It's so fucking awesome. Yeah. I mean, hey, let's say it.
I'm a fan.
Go ahead, say it.
I mean,
Hey,
alligators are badass.
alligators are badass. Hey. It is what it is.
They just are.
They just are. I like they're like, and not to go on a fucking rant about alligators, but let's take a side note, right? Those are crazy animals. I fucking love those guys. You like,
Bro.
dude, baby alligators are so fucking cute. They we were actually even kind of talking about it earlier at work today. I was like, I think alligators are in my top 3 for animals that I am sad that we haven't widely domesticated yet. Like, you can just go get a dog. You can just go get a cat, a hamster, a bird.
That's gross.
Like, anything like a
Like
ferret.
domesticating an
Yeah.
alligator,
Why
like having a
can't-
pet alligator.
I want to go to Petco and say, you got alligators? And they're like, yeah, they're in the back. Or like, like come, not like a shady like black market deal, they're in the back, but like, yeah, like, they're over there, like, go get you an alligator. And I'm like, fuck yeah,
Can't see it.
like, fuck yeah, I'll get me an alligator.
Just
like, what
like
do you mean?
someone
dude?
with a leash on their alligator walking down, taking
Dude,
your
like-
alligator for a walk. That's crazy.
Dude, it's so crazy. But like, I feel like the main thing about that is like, would an alligator even like want to go on a walk? I feel like that's a very like
alligator
dog-
might want to go on a swim.
Yeah, like
You had a pool in the backyard.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you had a little
no.
doggy door, and you just go out into the backyard and get in the pool.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And you go out and
like,
you just swim with your alligator.
yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like that's a very like
That'd be cute.
canine or like a feline trait, like walks. Like I've known cats on like TikTok that like to like take walks and whatnot, and then obviously it's a very big dog
True.
thing. But I was gonna mention when I like on this like tangent about alligators, like those things, like an alligator will just sit in the same spot in the mud in the water for like 3 hours,
Me
unmoving,
for real.
unmoving, unthinking, unblinking. It will just sit there in the warmth of
It's
the
chilling.
sun and just sit there. So like, I feel like would an alligator, like would a domesticated alligator even like want to take a walk? I don't think they would. They just kind of
Yeah.
sit there, right?
I don't know,
Like,
it'd be
they
pretty
just-
boring. It'd almost be like cats in a way where they're not usually the walkers.
yeah,
And like you could get like your own litter box, like an alligator litter box,
hell yeah,
and it goes to the bathroom there. And instead of like a dog cage that you put your dog in
yeah,
whenever you're leaving the house or something, so it doesn't like rip out your furniture or something or like act
Yeah.
up. You would just have like a little alligator, like an enclosed, decently sized, of course, fish tank.
yeah.
Alligators would be a rich person.
I feel like they would. I feel
animal
like they
for
would
sure.
take a decent amount of like home space.
Yeah.
Like
That'd
like
be
I
very
feel like
inconvenient.
You definitely want
No
like
poor
a
person
body.
could have an alligator.
Yeah, like I feel like you definitely want like a body of water for them at least
Yeah.
that they can just kind of fucking chill in. But like, dude, they'd be so cute when they're younger. And then like I always like how I said earlier at work today, I imagine the imagery of like, okay, when my alligator grew up, obviously they're not gonna be as cute, but like I just think it's like badass, right? Like alligators are badass.
Yeah.
Like think about
No one's gonna
you-
break into your house and see a 12-foot alligator and say, "I'm still breaking into this
yeah,
house."
I'm robbing this place. Yeah, I mean it's like I
It
don't
was like, yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
And I was
You
just
break into
thinking
a house,
like,
you hear dogs barking. That's enough to scare people away most of the time.
yeah.
Imagine a robber like breaks through your front door.
You just feel like
They hear like the hiss of an alligator opening its mouth. They
Yeah.
see it there in the doorway, and like they're just running away.
yeah, it's like what
No
do you-
way are we continuing to rob that house.
yeah, like there's no shot.
Great
That-
guard animals.
I'm also
For
just
sure.
imagining you're like chopping up meat, like maybe like a steak or like something. Like you're going to like make dinner, and you look at your fucking alligator pet on the floor, and it's
Yeah,
like looking up at you with its mouth open, and you're just like, fuck yeah, dude. You just like throw a steak into its mouth, and it just fucking, that's badass.
And
Alligators
then
are
he like slithers
badass.
away, like scatters away.
I fucking love alligators, dude. But yeah, Florida. What else did you do? Your first vacation?
Well, I mean, before we talk about that, before we get back on the Florida thing, how have we not domesticated? You said top 3, so that made me think of 2 other things. Right off the bat, two things I can think of. Why haven't we domesticated them yet? And this is actually
can I guess one?
Semi-true. Kangaroos and bears.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna if I could guess, I was gonna say like foxes. Because foxes are also cool.
I know people have domesticated raccoons. So I feel like that's not a valid one. Raccoons are actually on the semi-easier side of the scale to domesticate. At least if alligators are on that scale, I'd say raccoons are pretty easy.
Yeah, they're a bit lighter on the scale, I'm sure.
Imagine bears. Like at least
I fucking love bears, dude.
Unfortunately, bears get to like 600 pounds, even like the smaller breeds.
Yeah.
But like imagine you could have like a female bear, maybe it only gets to like 300 pounds when it grows up. But think about how damn cute a bear cub is.
Holy shit.
And like they're just so fluffy. And like anytime you see a video and it's like not of an aggressive bear, but like a big dumb bear. Yeah, and he just like looking around, sniffing, walks up to the porch. The little girl's like, get up and the bear's not like charging them or anything. He's just chilling. He's vibing. And I think that we should do that with more bears.
Yeah,
100%.
We need more bears.
Yeah,
and society. Then
kangaroos for sure. But kangaroos, I said, already are kind of there because you can domesticate them. If you raise them in captivity, they're actually
pretty friendly.
On the easier side of the scale to domesticate if you raise them yourself. Yeah, because they're actually extremely smart. So they're not gonna like. It's like there's dangers to it. Like whenever you raise a chimpanzee, it can like rip your face off sometimes. If it gets
totally.
If it gets into a rage, and that's happened before. But they're really smart, and so it's not guaranteed that it's gonna rip your face off.
That's true. Listen, I was also gonna say, here's the thing. Here's my thing on why I think we shouldn't domesticate kangaroos.
Okay.
Those are one of those animals. I feel like they're in my top 5. I'm gonna have a lot of top X number things, right? Maybe we'll do like a tier list episode one day. But they're in my top
all
5
animals ranked.
True, all animals ranked.
Every animal in the entire universe.
They're in my top 5 for animals, and I look at them and I'm like, that's just a dude. That's just a guy named Steve. Like,
is number 1 monkeys?
I feel like some of the smarter some of the smarter gorillas where they're like doing like sign language and they're like and the zookeeper is like, what is 10 plus 13? And then they go like fucking 23 with their fucking sign language, and you're like, what do you mean you're doing
all math? The blind people watching this just got really offended.
Yeah, no, and then they're just like, because they're doing the sign language or whatnot. True, they can't see my hands. Get fucked. L. Yeah. But they see like, so like they're and then the gorilla is going like 23, and then and so they give him a banana, and the gorilla goes like, thank you, Allison.
Why would a blind person get offended?
Because they can't.
Because they don't use sign language because they can't see it.
Yeah, no,
but I'm actually dumb.
I thought you were making the other joke. Is that's exactly why they would be offended? Because I'm like making motions for the gorilla speaking, and they're never gonna see it.
I mean, that's
without us bringing
we'll go with that.
Yeah, without us bringing up that it's happening. But yeah, you're okay. You're like, all right, Greg the gorilla. You're like, what's fucking 10 times 4? And they're like 40 in sign language, and then they're like, awesome, and they like give him a banana or some like other treat, and the gorilla is like, thank you, Allison, in like fucking sign language, and I'm like, that's just a dude. That's a guy.
Thank you is like a really.
It's a very common one they teach the gorillas to like be able to do.
Yeah.
And like I feel like
I don't know. That might be hard.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really know the sign language meta. I don't. Yeah,
Sure.
I have no idea. But kangaroos are in the same category where I look at them, I'm like, that's just a guy. Like, have you like when when you see like the fucking kangaroos and you see them in the videos and they like hop up to a guy on the prairie and they're just like they're like standing there like with their arms like fucking like a
Yeah.
they look like they're like flexing their human pectoral muscles and they're like, you want to fucking go, mate? Like, you want to
The
square off?
craziest thing
You
is how
want to square
dangerous they
off,
actually
mate?
are.
Yeah, no, they hit so hard. Like both like obviously yes, their feet, right? But like also like their punches, like the average like kangaroo punch, PSI wise is it's not like stronger than the strongest human punch ever, but it's like well above the human average for like punching power. So it's like, and that's not even like their main thing. Like they got the feet, they got the feet, which are way stronger. But like,
Bro.
yeah, they're just like bipedal, and it's just the way that like when they're like ready to fight, they just like look like a dude, like a human dude who is like, hey man, you want to go?
You know what should be in that top 5 of animals that are just dudes?
Yeah.
Sloths.
Yeah. I mean, they're literally
Definitely.
me.
I mean, it's just like that dude just didn't cut his like fingernails and now he can climb trees like really slowly.
And he's just kind of like it's just kind of like sure. They're just kind of like nature's interpretation of a pothead. Like all they do is eat.
Yeah, they're just chilling.
They just sit there and do nothing and they eat. And like
me for real.
Hey, and then sometimes they die. But like that's that's,
we should get a sloth on our podcast.
We really should.
We should get like
just a dude.
A guest sloth.
Here's a fun fact. Did you know that the sloth claws, the nails, are like retardedly sharp? Like super sharp. Like
I would imagine. Like yeah, I know that they like sometimes if they don't have something to hook their like hooked claws onto, they'll just straight up stab it into a tree. Yeah. And just climb the tree like that.
And that's crazy. I feel like they've also, from what I saw, it was like a nature documentary. They said that sloth claws could like puncture crude iron. Not like the steel shit that we make now, but awesome. Like they can just stab through iron. Like they have like sword hands. They really should. Yeah, but like they wouldn't.
We really need to get a sloth on the pod.
They wouldn't be very good at it because like they couldn't make shit very fast. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Orin doesn't. He's a ram.
Yeah, but like rams are fast. Like you ever see a ram?
Bro,
like,
literally
run,
just
like
how is he blacksmithing with hooves? You know?
I mean, that's the rabbit hole I don't want to go down this episode. Anyway,
that's true. That's true.
Florida, right?
Yeah, so, true. Like, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went
what else did you do?
I really enjoyed Florida the first time that I went for a full week.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like, and this is a common sentiment that I felt again whenever I went down there. It almost feels like every time I go down there, I remember that it's probably my favorite place that I have ever been. Just like the state in general.
Yeah.
Obviously, like it has bad areas, but like I'm talking about.
Yeah,
just,
it's definitely different. Like living there, you know. Like,
yeah.
There's probably some stuff that like you're not exposed to because you don't actually live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we went on the first trip. We went to Melbourne, and we basically all stayed with, I think a relative or a friend of VG's, and that was like the whole thing there. We basically all stayed at her house. She had a very nice house, and that was awesome. I just took walks around her neighborhood sometimes because when I went there, I actually the day that we went, I started a qual phone job.
Yeah.
And that was a work from home position.
I vividly remember that.
And basically, what I did was I was in the paid training, but I'm not like a boomer, which is which is 100% what those trainings are about. Just to get the average person
who is
not from our generation to intelligently work with a computer good enough to do a full-blown
Oh my
job
god,
through it.
we could do our
We could,
own
yeah, we could
tangent
have a
about
talk
those
about
training
this.
sessions, dude. They'd be like, "All right, so what you're gonna go ahead and do is like open Word," and people our age are like, "Yeah, I did that like 40 minutes ago when this started," and
Yeah.
some lady named like Patrice, aged like 71, is like, "What is a Microsoft?" And you
And
go
it's
on like a
crazy.
half-hour
Like, those people
tangent.
should
Like, how did they
not
get
to
through?
like.
How did they get to training?
Oh my god. I'm just saying, like, I'm of the opinion where this is pretty harsh, but if that is the case, you should instantly be kicked from the training.
Yeah,
This is clearly not for you. Like, they'll tell you to do the simplest thing. I will do it in 2 seconds, and they will have to take these people into separate calls. They'll have to be
Yeah.
like, I can't get through to this person. I have to bring in a second trainer to help me get this. Like, we need to go into like. I've had times where my main trainer, who's trying to train the whole group, brings in another trainer. Those two go into a separate call with like 3 boomers who just can't get it.
Yeah.
And they have to like do the screen share, and they basically have to be. Sometimes they're just like, okay, allow me to take control of your computer for
Yeah,
you.
let me just
And
do
that
it
is
for you.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we will waste hours and hours and hours, full days,
Yeah.
opening up Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I can't. It is unbelievable. If you've
Dude.
ever done a work from home position,
You know.
I'm sure, yeah,
Then
like
you
you
know.
know the struggle. Like, unless
dude.
you got really lucky, you know. But I started this position. This was the one that we did, or that I don't know. Actually, I don't think that you did it. This might have
I
been
don't think
something
so.
that I was doing on my own. This was after we'd done that one gas company where we had to shut off people's gas.
Yeah.
That was like earlier in that year.
DTE,
But-
Duquesne something energy.
Yeah, DT. I tried to do that while I was working for the
Duquesne-
fire hall, and I was just
I
like,
don't know.
I'm not doing this. I'm just working for the fire hall. That was rough.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't even about having a second job. That job was just miserable. The whole training was
we
awful.
could talk about that like in a real passing thing.
We should have a whole episode where we just talk about past jobs, because
yeah, sure.
I could yap and you could yap.
Yeah, no,
quite a bit.
we'll save it for later. But that job was awful.
I could also bring up Applebee's. Like, I got a lot of stuff to talk about with past jobs.
Yeah.
The thrift store. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I started it, and basically what I did was we had all these things that we had to complete over like our 2 full weeks of training.
Yeah.
By the second day, the first day I went through, I did half of the training tests, aced all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, I just don't want to do anymore. I didn't listen to a word said the entire training. I logged on the next day. I did everything. And I would straight up leave my computer while the training was happening while I'm in there.
Yeah.
And guaranteed they had multiple times where they called on me to like do something. And I was just unresponsive. They probably just assumed I was at the bathroom.
Yeah.
I had everything done,
Yeah, I mean, he
and
must,
honestly,
you know.
they never said anything to me about it. And what's crazy is that my girlfriend's mom
Yeah, I was gonna mention
one of the recruiters, the high-end people at that place, and she was perfectly fine with it. She was like, "Did you do everything?" And I was like, "Yeah," because she knows that those trainings are all about getting the boomers to do what could have been a 2-day training for like, you know, the people who get it.
Yeah.
And she knows that, like, yeah, I don't expect you to sit through that. Especially, like, we're on vacation. Like, you did everything you had to do. You passed the training already. So you're good.
Yeah.
And basically, I would just take walks around the neighborhood just to, like, be out there. I feel like palm trees are a vibe. I wanted to bring that up. Some small things about Florida. I think palm trees are a complete vibe. I don't know why. I just think they look cool. One of the coolest looking trees. Definitely not the coolest. I think that would be like a redwood tree. Those are crazy, or like a willow tree.
A high
Those are
tier
badass.
tree for sure.
We need to do a tree tier list.
Yeah, we need to do a tree tier list.
Holy shit.
I haven't
We need
seen
to like
many,
take notes. We just
this-
need to do a tier list episode.
This is a very gamer statement, but I haven't seen many trees. like,
I don't really touch grass. Like,
like I don't
I don't know.
I don't know what grass is, but like Yeah, no, like I haven't seen a lot of trees. And
Yeah.
by that I mean I've seen quite a numerous amount of trees if we're going by number, but if we're going by
Like
type,
different species
yeah,
of
different
trees.
species of trees. I know like 3 of them. I've seen like a pine tree. Them shits are
For
everywhere.
sure.
Yeah, and then like
There's
I
like some
think
oak
like
trees. Those are pretty.
yeah, and oak
Some
probably. And
hemlocks.
I was gonna say I'm not really like like a tree doctor. Um, it's it starts with a B, like the actual
Botanist?
science. Yeah, botanist.
I'm
Yeah,
not a botanist.
I'm not a tree doctor, but like I'm pretty sure that there's probably some like firs, like FIR, and like oak and like spruce. Perhaps maybe pine. I've seen some cones,
An
some pine
arborist
cones.
is a specialist trained and certified
Yes.
in the planting, care, and maintenance of trees.
Hell yeah.
You're
Yeah,
no
yeah,
arborist.
I'm no arborist. I'm no tree doctor. But
Like I've seen trees.
yeah, like I've seen some trees, like, but I haven't seen
Not
a
a-
lot of
Not a
trees.
large
Like,
variation.
yeah, I haven't seen redwoods. I haven't seen willows. I think those
I want
ones
to
are
see
pretty
those
famous.
so bad in person.
Willows, I'm pretty sure because they're pretty famous. Those are the ones where the leaves are like stupidly long, right? Like they just like go down like hair. Is that the right kind of
I
tree
don't
I'm
know if it's
talking
like
about?
individual leaves that go down, but it's like a tree that goes high and then it
Yeah.
like droops down over like it's pretty
A
wide,
wide
like the top of
area.
it,
Yeah.
and it just like droops. Those look so cool. I don't know if
Yeah.
I've probably seen them in person, but maybe just smaller than what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we need to do a tree tier list.
I want to go to Yellowstone so bad for a trip,
Yeah.
which Alyssa's heavily afraid of because she thinks
that's
like
the day that it erupts.
yeah, like that's just the day. Like maybe if
Yeah.
you went for sure, but
Yeah,
like
man,
I don't think
probably
we have
if
to
I
wear
went,
anything to
yeah.
worry about.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you should probably
Oh, my
never
bad.
go anywhere near Yellowstone. To be honest, I
That
don't
would-
think you should ever try and
that
go to
would-
Hawaii.
That would be bad for the world, I think.
That's
Like, I'm gonna trip Yellowstone or like what's the Hawaii one? Oh, what is it called?
I feel like people will think that that's like a
Krakatoa.
fat joke or something that you're gonna trigger Yellowstone, but in reality, that is a joke on how bad
Like,
his luck
I have
is.
absurdly bad luck, which will probably come up in stories in the future. But yeah, it could also double as a fat joke. Like, you know, each step I take is causing like like tectonic shifts that will fundamentally destroy our planet by erupting
It's true.
Yellowstone if I go near it. So it's probably
If you go to
it's
California,
good.
that's when half
Yeah.
of it falls into the ocean.
Yeah, no, hold on. This is like, hey, we're real, right? What is it? What is the Hawaii one? It's bothering me. Like I want to say like Krakatoa, but that's from SpongeBob, right?
Is that
man.
it's not Kilimanjaro
No, it's
for sure.
no, Kilimanjaro is over in like Nepal, like the India area.
I swear I know some of the Hawaiian islands, and I think the
Yeah.
islands are just called what the volcanoes are because they are volcanic islands. There's Kauai, Maui, Oahu. Yeah, Oahu I think is the biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah, so volcanoes and trees, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you want to go to Yellowstone
Kauai,
at some point.
Yeah. I think that'd just be really cool because they have like the big fur. Actually, I think is the title of just big FIR.
Yeah, FIR fur. Yeah.
It's like a national park, I think also around where out west.
Yeah.
But it has like the redwood trees. I'm talking about like the ones that like probably the first time anybody sees them in their life, it just makes them feel so small and insignificant. I think about every tree you've ever seen.
Yeah, it gives you instantaneous existential dread. You're like, wow, this tree was alive before like my great granddad was.
Yeah,
Like,
before my generation.
Yeah,
or before my bloodline began.
Yeah, this tree might have been alive before my family moved to America. Very likely.
And I'm also just saying like how big it is.
Yeah.
Where it's like a redwood tree. You can like
drive a car
hug
through
it,
it.
but like your hug isn't like, if I went to hug a tree here, I'd be
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Like you hug a redwood tree and
there's
you are
some
fully
definite
spread
trees.
out
Yeah.
and you're like barely.
Yeah.
It's like the earth is a sphere, but like you don't like walk around and be like, it's a sphere, bro. It's clearly a sphere. Like you look off in the distance and there's like elevation higher than where you are, and it's like clearly not a perfect sphere. I mean,
clearly not.
Like you go up to like a tree trunk of like a redwood, you wrap your arms around it as wide as you can, and you're like barely bending your arms.
Yeah.
Because it's like the circumference of the tree is fucking massive.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
But I was saying,
so
there's
bad.
Pictures from like,
and I'm no arborist.
Yeah.
But for the trees, I want to go there just to like see redwoods.
Yeah. I feel like everyone who is in America should try to see the redwoods at some point in their life. I know I want to, because that is one of the American W's, of which there are many, baby. But one of the
right, brother.
Yeah, like our healthcare. One of the American W's is that the redwoods are uniquely American. They're nowhere else. Like Yellowstone, yeah, they are only in North America, specifically the United States. Like that crazy area, Yellowstone, and there's also a good amount of like California. I think the biggest redwood forest in the world isn't Yellowstone. It's a place in California. I remember hearing about it from like a different, like a YouTuber and whatnot. I've heard about it in passing, and there's real life pictures from that place where they have hiking paths that are wide enough that you can drive like cars on the hiking paths, and they go through the redwood trees. Like,
oh yeah,
here's a redwood
like
tree,
a tunnel in a
and
redwood
here
tree.
is a carved out tunnel that a full-size 4-seater like soccer mom van can just drive through the tree, and the tree is alive. That's fucking crazy. Like the tree is so big. It's so dumb.
I literally see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's a chandelier tree. You drive over a bridge and right through a tree.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a chandelier tree with a vehicle inside of it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a full-blown bus in the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, like the trees are crazy.
Thing.
And arborists, now that I know what their name, I was gonna call them tree doctors. Like when we're talking about the redwoods, they're like, these trees, some of them genuinely might have been around like when some of like the latest like dinosaur-esque type of animals were like alive. I don't remember what like scientific like period. It's not like prehistoric or whatever, but
yeah,
they are stupid old. Like they're like some, I think
me in a lot of years.
Yeah, true. Me in like 3 years. Stupid old. But like, and like, don't cite me on a research paper. I'm no tree doctor, but I think, and I'm not fact checking. Hey, I don't have 2 monitors, is what it is. I'm not fact checking. I think redwoods are like older than alligators, and alligators are like really old. Like, and by the way, alligators are badass. Can we get a fact check on that?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
More than 150 million years old for alligators. Yeah. The species scientists say is more than 150 million years old. So 150 million is like the biggest number we know. How old are redwood trees? Okay. They can. Maybe you're thinking of a different kind of tree.
Maybe.
Because it says that it's 2,000 years. They can live more than 2,000 years.
Yeah, but that's saying how long they can live.
Oh.
How long have they been around? Okay. That's the question. Which also is crazy. 2,000 years.
Yeah, for like, the entirety. More
For
than
the
2,000 years.
retiree of post-Jesus human history,
Yeah.
in
The
like
start of the
19
calendar.
yeah, in like 1998, there might have been redwood trees that were alive when Jesus was born.
How long have redwood trees been around? 240 million years.
Yep. See, I told you. They've been around longer than alligators.
In California for at
That's
least 20 million
crazy.
years. Yeah. So
That's
almost
so fucking
100
crazy.
million more years than alligators.
That's so fucking crazy, dude. And they're huge. I think one of the reasons that redwoods
How
are so
long?
crazy, and you'll probably agree with me with this. I think one of the reasons that redwood trees are so fucking crazy as like a concept is because it feels like something that they would have made up for like a video game.
They are prehistoric.
Yeah.
They were around during the Mesozoic era. I probably said that wrong. Mesozoic era.
Yeah.
252 million years are the oldest traces of dinosaurs.
And they're still here.
Yeah.
And they're still here. And like I said, I feel like the craziest part about them is they sound like something that someone would make up in a video game. Like World of Warcraft or New World or some sort of like fantasy game. Yeah, they're like, there's like magic trees or some shit. And they've like been around since like
the dawn of time.
Yeah, like the dawn of time. And like that's just like a real thing in real life that is actually true and real. These trees have been around since when dinosaurs were walking around. And they are so big you can drive cars and buses through them. And there might be redwoods alive today that were alive when Jesus was born. And this is all real things and not some one-liner you read in like a fantasy video game in a loading screen. This is real. That's fucking crazy.
Let me look up how tall are redwood trees. 300 to 350 feet.
Yeah.
Let's just say, how tall are
how many stories
pine trees? $70 to $80.
Yeah.
You can stack like 5 pine trees on top of each other.
Okay, yeah, so that's like 35 stories.
Yep. I've never been 35 stories high.
Yeah,
I've never been in a building more I've probably been in a building.
Yeah.
But like I don't think I myself as a human have ever been
of one
that
of those
high.
Things. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like trees, right?
Yeah.
We gotta do a tree tier list. And so like basically
we really do.
What we're saying is like Florida.
Yeah,
right?
Florida's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hey.
Yeah. So
yeah, so to move on to cuz like I don't know. I could try and talk about the past one that I went, but I more so brought that up just to kind of talk about Florida in general.
Mhm.
Anytime I've gone there, and now this is my second one that I'm about to talk about. My second more than a week-long trip there. I just feel like, and I know that there's like a honeymoon phase type thing to it where it's like, I go there as like a traveler.
It's a completely new environment. Yeah.
And I know it wouldn't be as perfect just like living there.
Yeah.
But I do feel on average, like I don't feel anything really when I go to a state like Maryland. I don't feel anything when I'm in a state like Georgia.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in
I hear they have peaches.
You know what I'm saying? I think North Carolina's pretty nice. South Carolina's probably pretty nice.
Yeah.
But like there's just like a vibe that I feel in my soul when I'm in Florida for some reason.
Yeah.
It's just warm. I'm a fan of warm.
Yeah.
Even whenever the coldest that it got there, and this is winter by the way, is actually surprising. I thought it wouldn't get this cold. It got, well, unless it was like legendarily cold. But like some nights it was just flat out this cold. It got to like high 40s.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm a person who enjoys warmth. And also, I know that like being in Florida, if you just get a pole, it solves like 90% of your problems. That's obviously a meme, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the best state you could
Why are
possibly
you
get a pole
homeless?
in if you
Just get
think
a
about
pool.
it. Yeah.
Like,
It's like if you live in a state like that, like Texas, if you live anywhere like super south, get a pole. Like if you just have a pole, is such a W
yeah, it
because you
is.
basically get to use it year round.
Yeah,
People who have poles around here, they cover that shit because it ices over for half the year.
it
It's
really
just so
does.
cringe. Or it's like it's so generally like cold outside that the water isn't warm enough to be enjoyable to swim in.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty much anything below like 65.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little
I
less if you're a menace.
yeah, I was gonna say in my like for me, I'm an extreme menace. I'm definitely more of a cold fan, and you can chalk that up to a few different things. I think I have very northern European ancestry, and I'm just generally like I do very well with the cold. And also I'm a fat guy. So I generate a lot more extra heat. So I do better in cold. That's kind of how it is, right? We'll see if that changes because I am trying to lose weight. A side story. We'll talk about it later. But well, I am just good with cold, and I'm also I'm super fixated on the activity that is swimming. I fucking love swimming. And for like my entire childhood and then even into adulthood, anytime that swimming was on the table, like it was like summerish and someone had a swimming pool and I was at their house, I was like, hell yeah, I want to swim. I would be swimming for like 2 to 3 hours. Like my entire body would become a prune. I was Raisin Man, you know, like it'd be like, hey Nick, don't you want to like join the family function and play darts? And I'm like, no, I'm swimming.
No.
And they're like,
I
hey,
want to do that.
don't you want to like come eat dinner?
It's a nice hot day.
Yeah, dude. Don't you want to come eat dinner? There's all this like hot food that we like made. We made like buffalo chicken dip and like deviled eggs and like, hey, fat guy
Can I
loves
eat
to
it in the pool?
Yeah, but can I eat it in the pool? Like, hey, fat guy loves to eat, but like, can I eat it in the pool? And it's like, all right. I mean, Nick, we got to go home soon. It's like 9:50.
I'm swimming.
It's like 9:50 p.m. and it's like, yeah, I'm swimming, dude. Like, relax. Like, I try to live by the motto when it's available to me. ABS. Always be swimming. Always be swimming. I love swimming, dude. So I was like gonna say, I'm like a
like
whale.
A Nemo. Always just keep swimming,
dude. Real, just keep swimming. I just so like if it's presented to me, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna be swimming. And I feel like you could like deconstruct why that is, but that's not what I'm here to do today. It's like, so I was gonna say my bar for like acceptable water is way lower because I can like tolerate cold better, and I also love swimming. So I have been in some frigid ass waters. I have gone swimming when it was like 52 degrees out, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. And I stand for just as long. Yeah, I like literally. Ice baths are cold enough that it would be physically like long term probably harmful to my body, but I was taking like 3-hour long mini ice baths where I'm like, yeah, it's cold as shit. I don't care. I'm in it, you know? And you get used to it so much faster than you think you would. You're like, oh dear God, this is the coldest I have ever been. And then you're like 2 minutes later, you're like, it could be 90 for all I know. Hey, is what it is. It's water. At least it like in my experience, it's different for different people. But like, I fucking love swimming.
I feel like it's just always peak swimming weather.
Yeah,
it's just always the kind of weather that makes you want to go swimming.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean.
I also feel like people don't like humidity. It really depends.
I hate humidity.
Humidity is like, I don't know, every house down in Florida, pretty much, it's like a requirement for having a house there, and it like makes sense, is like central air and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that's pretty pleasant. I just feel like the house design is better in a way. It's like anytime I've ever been in a house.
House design tier list.
It's weird because it just feels different than being in a house here. Yeah. I feel like it's more, the houses there are more open and everything. but they have to build the houses in a way that they can withstand hurricanes.
Yeah.
That probably goes into the structure of the design of the house. And anytime I've ever been in a house in Florida, I'm like, this is a nice house. Whenever I was in Melbourne, Florida, which is about an hour southeast of Orlando, that's where I went for the first vacation I went there. It's just a nice area, and it costs so much less. The cost of living is so much less than you would imagine it would be. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I can't name numbers. I'm sure things have changed. Obviously, things have changed in like 4 years, especially.
Yeah. Completely, probably.
The market just keeps getting worse and worse.
I mean,
but that's everywhere.
Like, hey, no, dude. In the years that we've lived here, our rent has gone up like $100 and something. That's
insane.
Yeah, like it just keeps going up. It's crazy.
It's just never gonna stop. That's the unfortunate reality.
And then we die. But
yay. Yeah, I would say like quick bullet points. Alligators are badass. Palm trees are a vibe. Humidity sucks, but to a point, it can just be like, oh, free humidifier. My nose is never dry.
That's true.
I'm breathing God's air down here.
Yeah.
Hurricanes, like, a little scary.
Yeah.
But like storms are badass. Like, you ever just been
that's objectively true.
It rains a lot down there, even just like separate from like the storming.
Yeah.
Even like the hurricanes, separate from that. It just rains in general a decent amount there.
Yeah.
Probably more than on average here. Rain is nice.
I love rain.
What are other like just small things? I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like a vibe when I'm there. That overall quality of life just feels better year round, during the day at least, unless they're like experiencing an especially cold event in the middle of winter. It's mostly just t-shirt and shorts weather year round. T-shirt, shorts, and Crocs. You can just like go out 99% of the days of the year in that exact outfit and feel perfectly comfortable.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I really don't know. I'm a person who likes warm. If I just like going outside and not having to worry about like bundling up or being cold or whatever.
Wow.
Just going out in some Crocs,
all
t-shirt,
I'm hearing,
shorts.
As I sit here and I listen to this from my homie, is you got such a shit spawn point for your video game, for your life. You're like, man, I hate cold. I hate bundling up. And I just like, I like when it's like warm all the time. And like when it's like warm all the time, I can like go swimming and shit. And like the air is humid. So like, I never have like problems with my nose. And I'm just sitting there like,
because my nose does get dry and then I get like nosebleeds.
I'm just sitting there and I'm like, as of recording right now, I have a handy dandy widget on my computer, but it's it is 37 degrees, 5 degrees away from freezing, and
yay!
And it's just there's ice on our cars and there's snow and it is cold here from like. And it was probably different when we were younger. We could definitely talk about that as well. It's probably cold from like beginning of October until like mid-March. That sound fair?
Global warming's definitely affected us quite heavily. I mean, we should probably talk about that in a different podcast.
Yeah.
A different episode. Because
that's a whole thing on its own.
We've been rambling a lot from all the topics that we which is okay, but like this is definitely going to be a long one, which is
that's
also
what
fine.
We're here for.
But I remember when September used to be considered a pretty cold month.
Yeah,
used to be like the start of the cold. Now it's like an entire month later, if that. Yeah, I feel like a decent amount of October. We didn't see snow until like late November this year.
Yeah, it didn't snow. It didn't snow
like,
on Christmas.
We were having, in December, we were having over 60-degree days.
Yeah.
Where we're going to
having
work
days
in a t-shirt
where
and shorts.
the sun was physically like warm on your skin. Like it was like high 60s with like clear skies. So it felt like a low temp summer day.
No, you don't understand. It's actually not global warming. It's just that like the poles are shifting and it'll just get colder at other times of the year.
Yeah, and
that's why it's going to be really cold in June.
Yeah, and like Bill
Clinton.
For
sure.
Yeah. And the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically Joe Biden is going to make sure that it's really cold in June and July because we didn't get enough cold in December.
That makes sense. I'm glad they're going to fix that with the new patch notes. Weird
That'd
bug.
be so cool if patch notes. I mean, I probably wouldn't agree. I mean, well, I guess they kind of do.
I think we call those like bills and shit.
Yeah, and like the people that make the patch notes, we do not agree with the balance team here in America.
No,
America's balance team is off their goop. We're dealing with some like Arden Censor season 7 League of Legends shit.
Oh man.
Just like that one time in League of Legends.
The NA balance team. Crazy.
Yeah, but this trip to Florida, other than just like how much I generally enjoy being in Florida, we were down there for my girlfriend's sister to do a cheerleading competition where she's like the best in the area in terms of like ages 12 plus. Mm-hmm. So she goes down to nationals and she competes there against teams from all over the United States. Who are in her age bracket, and wait, did I say 12 plus? I meant 12 and under. And she got second out of all of them, which was like really good. And I think I said this the other day when we were talking about it, but like it was actually really cool because they were obviously second place in the entire nation is something to be proud of. But in the moment when you hear, I talked about this in a video that I made on my own channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't heard anything about this.
Some of them were crying.
Yeah.
That they didn't get first place. And I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. I was like, these 12-year-olds actually care a lot about competition. And like second place in the entire nation is something to like really be proud of. All the parents are proud of them, everything like that. But like, of course, as like a competitor, you weren't going for second.
Like, I mean, you were going for second as first loser. Yeah, right?
I thought it was actually really, really motivating and sweet as like I would say as like a competitive natured person in general.
Yeah.
To see that like they actually cared a lot about like, they can realize that was really impressive, but also like they wanted to win.
Yeah, they still want to do better.
And like, that was just cool. I feel like I gained a lot of respect for like random 12-year-old girls I've never met before.
True.
I was like,
you're all right.
You guys are kind of badass.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of badass.
And I was like kind of proud of her sister for, I don't know, having that like kind of competitive nature.
Yeah. Where do 12-year-olds fit on the badass tier list? Are they A or are they S tier? I don't know. Think about
it. I don't know. I'd probably say the average 12-year-old is just an annoying little shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, but I only had to deal with one 12-year-old directly.
Yeah.
So like it was okay. And honestly, like we've talked about it before. Like JC
is a good kid.
A top tier kid.
Yeah.
In terms of just like
just not
being an annoying little shit 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I guess she has moments, but like that is a lot better than what you can say. Everyone has moments.
Yeah.
Like 40-year-olds have moments, 95-year-olds have moments, especially when they go on Facebook.
Real.
But I would say that was pretty cool. I mean, that's really. I guess we went to the Disney parks.
Yeah.
I must say the Disney parks are neat. Mm-hmm. They're cool. Their rides have a lot of theming.
Yeah.
But they're family parks. it's like it's very obvious.
Yeah,
So like
yeah,
they don't
like, you're
have
not getting,
adult rides.
yeah,
If you know what I mean.
you're not getting the like if you go to any North American or like roller coaster aficionado, like people who just travel the world to like visit different like parks and stuff, because I know that those people are out there. If you've been to like Kennywood up in Pittsburgh where we live, we used to go there all the time before we lived here, even because I mean we were still in the same state, we were close. The Phantom Revenge is pretty goated.
There's
A lot of
nothing
people,
like
yeah,
the
a lot of
Phantom
people will
Revenge,
not know
even
that off
close.
name, but it had some like national records at the time when it came out. I think it's definitely been used up by now, but very intense, like, you know,
Yeah.
adult roller coaster. You're not gonna get that at Disney. You kind of have got a bunch of baby rides. It's more like you have to go there expecting like a visual feast more so than like you're gonna get your like adrenaline junkie like fix. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah. There's not like roller coasters there.
Yeah.
There's really like the rides are still fun. There's some theming, and there are some that actually get kind of close.
Yeah.
But they are designed for like families.
Yeah.
Like your fucking like your 60-year-old aunt that came on the Disney trip with you could ride it with if she wanted to, like without dying.
Yeah.
But like if you put her on the Phantom's Revenge, I mean, like I don't know if she'd last that second drop.
True.
But I have actually watched and gotten into that before. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've actually got into those
You, like,
YouTube
look to the
channels
side,
before and
just-
watching them. And I have seen a few lists of like top roller coasters
Yeah.
in the past where Phantom's Revenge actually made like a top 25.
Yeah.
And that's like pretty cool
Yeah.
for a park that's like half an hour away from us.
Yeah.
Or less than a half an hour away from us, like 20 minutes. There's actually a lot. I think there's two in Hershey that made one that I actually watched the other day while I was bored in a 16-hour car ride.
Yeah.
And Hershey's only like 3 hours away. I kind of want to go. I'm actually a big fan of.
Do you
of
think we
roller
should
coasters.
take like a group vacation and
That'd
like
be
try
kinda
and go to
cool.
Hershey?
I think that'd be really cool
Yeah.
if like, 'cause that's like close enough. It's not anything
It
crazy.
wouldn't be torture.
We could split like a hotel room.
Yeah.
Like
For like a night, because we probably wouldn't want to be there like 3 days. Probably not.
no, yeah,
Like
just
a
be like
day or
you go
two.
down there. Maybe you get like a park day because you go in like the morning.
Yeah.
Like a park day, go back to a thing, and then you go the second day just to make sure like
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
hit
run
all the
everything, maybe you run
rides. You
everything a
did,
second
yeah,
time.
do all the thing.
But yeah, that'd be pretty fun. We were gonna go to Universal, which is like a larger park there. It's like
Yeah.
Universal Entertainment, the people who do like Harry Potter. They have like Nintendo themed attractions, How to Train Your Dragon, things like that.
Yeah, the goats.
They're basically
make good
the
movies.
adult version of Disney, where their rides are heavily themed,
Mm-hmm.
but they have Big Daddy rides,
Yeah.
like Jurassic Park and stuff like that as well. They have like Big Daddy rides, and unfortunately, and this is probably a problem with the planning. To get like next day tickets for 4 people
Yeah.
was going to be over $800. We decided not to go. That was just like
it's
I was just
too
like
much.
that is not worth it. That's
Yeah,
not worth it. Everyone
that's too
agreed that that
much.
was not worth it. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, nah.
That would be like a whole thing that you have to like plan out well in the future before you go there and like get a deal on like maybe like a few day multi-day pass. Whatever, things like that. But yeah, overall the trip was pretty fun. That was the only thing I was disappointed about. I feel like
because
if
Alyssa
you're a
really wanted you
kid-
to go there too, right? Have you never been there still
yeah.
yet?
Oh, I was at Disney. I think the last time I was whenever I was 6. is when my
Universal.
parents- Oh, Universal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to Universal
Yeah.
before.
Because she's told me many times, like before this trip, that she really wants to take you to Universal. So Yeah, that probably sucked to not be able to go though.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's alright. I mean,
it was still a
once
good
you
trip.
said how much it was gonna be, I was like
Like,
one of the first. I was like the first person to be like,
nah,
no. I
no,
don't want
sir.
you to feel bad for
No,
not, like
sir.
I'm looking at an $800. I'm looking at $900 on your phone right now. No, that is not worth it at all. What's crazy is that it's actually okay. We might go next year or something like that if we go down there again. Um, Next year, like the latest or the earliest. I mean, what Universal is doing is they're adding a new park called Epic Universe to their like lineup of parks that are like really close
Yeah,
together.
they're gonna have like Fortnite rides, right?
No,
Epic
no,
Universe.
no. It's just like yeah, Fortnite ride.
Yeah.
Get a victory royale.
Hell yeah, brother.
What's crazy is that the size of this third park
Yeah.
is the size of their two parks that are like connected,
Mm-hmm.
put together. So basically, Universal is just like doubling their land.
Yeah.
So getting the ability to go there, it's supposed to open next year. So getting the ability to go there next year, or like a year prior, you basically get like double the content that you would like going this year.
Yeah.
So like it's fine. I'd rather come more prepared with a way more small price tag than that.
True. Yeah.
And just be able to do more and have more fun. But overall, that's really what the vacation was. Disney is fun. I feel like it's a lot more fun if you're a kid. There's just more for
Yeah.
if you're going there seeking any thrill rides, you're not really gonna get it. But it's still just overall like it's not a bad time.
Yeah.
I got this pin.
Hold
All these
merch,
little these
not
movie
sponsored.
stickers. These 4 movie stickers.
Yeah.
You get those if you find Goofy. There's like this
That's
foot
sick.
tall cardboard cutout of Goofy that they change the location, they hide it at a random place in the resort every day.
Yeah.
And me and JC mostly, and we had Alyssa go along with us. We would go like every day to look for Goofy, and sometimes he would actually be pretty well hidden. We couldn't find him.
Yeah.
But we managed to find him 4 of the days and complete our pin. That was just like a little fun thing. I mean, like
completion side quest. Yeah.
It's so weird taking a break from being a gamer.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just how everyone lives. Like, it's almost really enjoyable in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like I enjoy playing video games, of course. And I enjoy like doing stuff around that.
Yeah.
But to just like find enjoyment, just be like I look over at JC and I'm like, we need to find Goofy tonight. We don't have a choice. We were on our last day. We were checking out at 11 a.m. I looked at her in the morning, or like the night before, and I was like, we need to get our last sticker. We have to find Goofy tomorrow. Yeah. Because before that, he had eluded us for 3 days straight.
Ooh.
And that was like,
unlucky.
What are we saying?
Yeah,
what are we
saying?
Like,
where are you putting it? Like in the
where's Goofy been?
In the fucking break room? Like
Alyssa was there. Like, maybe someone stole him. Like she was even good. Like, she was just making excuses like Riot's lagging.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I'm in loser's queue right now or something.
Yeah.
It's like no. The simple fact is we're just not good enough.
True.
We need to be better.
Yeah, need to be better.
I don't know, but finding like simple enjoyment and things like that. I feel like I had a lot more time in my day too.
Yeah.
But that's just because like,
I mean, you also weren't working at all.
That is true.
Yeah, like
that is true.
You just wake up and you're like, what am I gonna do today? Right? Like
what a good transition, really.
Yeah.
Feeling like my days have so much more in because I was playing Honkai on my phone a little bit at some points.
Here and there. Yeah.
But like and there was just like lull times where we would just be in the room, something would be on TV, I'm just like on my phone. But like a lot of times I just want to like get up and take a walk or something like that or like exist. I feel like I just had a lot more time in my day. And honestly, it probably is more the work thing than the video games thing.
Yeah, because I was going to say, to the video games point, I will defend my chosen hobby to the best of my ability. you have to remember that normal people aren't going to Disney every week. You know, it's still like, and you're not a normal person for being a gamer, by the way. But like, obviously, but like, still, that's like the peak of someone's year, and most people don't do it yearly. They
That's
do it
true.
like once once in a while, like 5 years or something, because it's usually a pretty expensive trip.
I mean, some people are crazy.
Yeah,
They
some.
like
I mean, some people are
go out
insane.
every day,
Yeah,
do
but they
something
also
every
just have
day.
like infinite money glitch. Like, there's no way that they're just like, yeah,
That's true.
it's so cool. Like, they come like,
It's like if
they,
you spent money on video games every day.
yeah, yeah. Some people do that. Real.
That's true, but like they have the
Yeah,
infinite money glitch.
yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they have to have infinite money glitch, because there's some people that come up to the store that we work at, and I've heard these stories, and I wasn't present, so I don't. Maybe he was just lying. But our former manager at the time told me about this mom who came up and was like, "Yeah, last year we spent $18,000 at Disneyland," and I'm like,
Where'd you get $18,000,
"Yeah,
man?
like, one, where did you get that? And like, two, why are you spending it at Disney? Like, there's no way you're not just like rolling in infinite money. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna
how,
say, like, to be fair, if you were balling, like if you
yeah,
had a lot of money, you took your whole family on a trip. Every night's an eat out night, something
yeah.
new, somewhere unique. You don't even look at the bill. I don't even need to see the price tag
Anyway,
anyways.
sure.
Your kid wants something, you just buy it. Like, well,
Yeah,
maybe you don't like spoil the shit out of your kid.
yeah,
But like if your kid wants something like a souvenir or something, you don't even look at the price tag.
yeah. You just buy
You
it.
buy your like family back home a few things. Like, oh, we went to Disney, we got something for you, things like that. I'm just not strapped with that kind of money.
Yeah, I'm just
Like,
not that guy.
we went down there. We got a Walmart order to our hotels, so we wouldn't have to eat out a
Oh
lot.
man, that's
I mean, we
crazy.
did eat out sometimes,
Yeah.
like while we were at parks and stuff. But like
Mm-hmm.
dinner, late or like snacking at night,
Yeah.
like we had food at the hotel.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do anything like that. But yeah, I don't know. These people have infinite money glitch. It's crazy.
Yeah. Must be nice.
Yeah, it was nice to get away from work.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
working sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Despite the fact that we have 3 days off a week, how is it that I still feel like most of my life is consumed by this thing?
Because I mean, there's a simple answer, right? It's because even with
is?
the 3 days off, it is. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, because I just work more on the days that
you're
I'm
still
on.
there more than you aren't, and in terms of like day count, and then also our days are longer.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, you know, it was definitely like a nice, yeah, it was definitely like a nice break for you, you would say, because I mean, you've been talking to me about it for the past, I don't know, like week, maybe even more than a month. I don't know how long it stretches back, but you've been talking about just how, like I said, during during our holiday season, it was our first year ever being assistant managers. So we were kind of like at an elevated height of responsibility, and with that, like, pressure. And so when we were getting through the holiday season, it was like, yeah, we're super stressed. We're super stressed. Like, every day, like, kind of sucks. Job is just like awful right now. But we're like, all right, well, when holiday season is over, our job gets to go back to like being easy, and we're gonna like be chilling. And our entire management staff, not just us, but our entire management staff was feeling that exact same way. Like, this job is awful. This is the worst thing I've ever done. But when it's over, we're going to be chilling. And it was true for all of us, but it wasn't true for you.
that's
And
true.
do you want to talk about why you feel like that is?
Yeah, I mean, I have like a few small reasons that all added up. I also feel like you haven't hit your complete. Well, I feel like you have in a way. There was at one point really early where you asked why to just like you were just like
I just took a week off.
I just straight up need a week.
Yeah.
like at least
Yeah,
of
I've
like
taken
figuring things
I've
out.
taken the least out
I
of
think
our
you were
trio.
planning on taking a longer period than a week, but after a week, you felt like you were okay to come back
Yeah,
because it seemed like you were pretty not vibing at the time.
yeah, yeah.
But you got better. But Sean, who also is one of our friends, of our good friends who used to be our roommate, he moved in with his girlfriend. So yeah,
Yeah.
congrats to the homie.
Mhm.
That was like 2 months ago during
Mhm.
Christmas. He had a period where he just basically sat at home and he had like a mental break period where it lasted like 2 to 3 months. I don't know. I mean, I think he hit the infinite money glitch because I don't know how that happened.
Yeah,
But
he
oh yeah,
had
he went into debt and
savings. Yeah, he went into debt that he hasn't recovered from, and then two, he sustained like the early portion of it before he started going into the debt. He just blew through all of the money that he had in his account up to that point.
and he bought a motorcycle after having multiple early
Yeah,
life crises.
that's a whole other
That's a
that's a
whole
whole
story.
other thing. Like,
Honestly, I would like to have him as a guest and he tells the story about that.
yeah, yeah,
I think that would be a banger. Yeah, we should have him on an episode where we just talk about living together because he still lived with us for like the better part of 2 years.
yeah,
And so yeah, yeah, I would say like I've hit my point. I don't think the week break wasn't because I'm like mentally broken. That week was coming up anyways. Like this trip to Disney was planned for a while, and it's because of Alyssa and her sister.
yeah,
And I just tagged along for that. I haven't yet taken a break in a way because of how I'm feeling. It's just a way that like that God one lined up.
yeah. It's like it's a blessing in a
And
way.
it's not gonna be I am at the point where I'm almost ready to take if I were to take a break like what Sean did and take 3 months, I feel like no, not gonna like talk smack on the homie, except I am. I
Yeah,
feel like
except I definitely will.
if I'm going to do that, I am going to use it so much better than him. I'm taking
bro
a
went
break. I'm not
crazy with
buying
it.
a motorcycle. I am immediately using my car that I have to probably still do DoorDash so I have some income.
Yeah,
And at the same time, I am going as hard as I possibly can in content on my channel and also just like improving the podcast and keeping that going because now that we've started, we're just gonna keep going with this. This is
oh,
just
of
a
course.
new, yeah. This is a nice new venture. This is like another avenue that I'm doing because I started streaming on YouTube more recently. I'm still making videos on YouTube and now just podcast. I feel like there's like a lot of prongs to what I'm
Yeah,
doing currently. I feel like the more you have that is like the more ways you can possibly gain um like exposure and more opportunities to improve what you're doing.
yeah,
Anyway, I mean we could talk about that in
yeah.
like bettering our lives, but
I was
the
even gonna
reason
say,
why yeah.
yeah, if I could, I was even gonna say, like, just as a small tangent, a pretty sappy one too. I feel like starting this podcast is actually really good for our relationship as like best friends, like lifelong best friends, because although we like have never ever been on the rocks, we've never had long periods of fighting and whatnot. We've also known each other and been around each other almost every single day for at least like I want to say like 9 of those years that
Yeah.
we've been friends. So there has just been many periods of time, and we're both okay with it. Like, it's never really been a problem. But there are just periods of time where we just like don't talk to each other because like
Or even if like we
there's
don't
like nothing to say. It's just
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Not like we purposely avoid each other, but it's like we are riding into work and like not a word is said.
Yeah,
We're,
or
we're
it's just
just like
something about the
sitting
day.
there.
Like we still
Yeah,
talk, but it's like we're actively playing a game. We're just talking about whatever game we're playing,
yeah,
or we're just like we're on the way to work, or we're at work, and then we're talking about like what we're doing at the time, or also
yeah,
just like a game that we're playing at the time. We're not often just randomly talking about life because we don't exactly have the most.
yeah. What's new that I can tell you about? Yeah, I don't know, bro.
It's like I don't
You were
know. I feel
there.
like you're there for most
Yeah,
of it
you were
anyway.
there. So like, yeah, it's like,
True. What am I gonna
yeah.
waffle about?
How was work?
But I feel like
Bro,
this
you
is
were with
also
me.
pretty
Like,
good to just permanently have conversations.
yeah,
Also about things that we're not both there for.
yeah. That's what I mean. I feel like it'll be very good. Not just. I think it'll be good content because we have a lot to talk about. We literally have a lifetime of experiences and stories to get through
How long is
before
this episode right now?
we're out of it. Oh, you want a live thing? It is. We're at an hour 35 minutes.
Oh my god, that is so
So
much better than I thought. Actually,
yeah, you thought
I
we were like 3 hours in or like 2 hours in or something?
I I unironically thought we were more than 2.5 hours in.
No, we're good. We're at 135 right now. But I feel like this will be so good for our relationship. Not that it needed help, but just like there's not many things that give us like an excuse, or not even an excuse. Not like we feel like we can't do it normally, but there's not many things that give us like a reason to just sit and talk about our life and our experiences and shit like that. So I feel
Yeah,
like it'll just be it'll be a really nice
like
part of every
perspectives.
week to just talk.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
agree. Um, I'm talking about work.
yeah, you
Work,
were talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
work.
work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love talking about
You heard
work.
about your work break, or like if you were to take a work break, like Sean, you'd do it better. Was like around the last. That was like around where you were to
Yeah.
like pursue your
Um.
content career, and like how you have many prongs and whatnot, many different
Yeah.
directions you're going.
Um. I mean, that's more on just like like the way that I'm currently bettering or trying to better my life, but basically like the reason why I've just been like kind of mentally ill in terms of like the fact that I'm working is just like
Yeah,
I don't feel I work in food, or well we work in food.
yeah,
And when you're working in food, you will hear from people who don't work in food, the people who like respect it, they will all say it takes a special kind of deranged to work in food.
yeah,
Like they will say some form of that. And it's like I feel like we don't have the craziest customers. Like it's honestly not that much for that reason.
yeah,
It's just like the same repetitive thing every day at the same place, doing something that doesn't really like no matter how I were to explain it, someone could argue against it. So like I will just say it is not fulfilling at all for me personally. Some
yeah.
people like making food. Some people like being chefs. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
chefs is I don't want to say like, but I guess I can because I'm the one doing it. It's probably like a more respectable and also more fun way of doing food because
Yeah,
it's like I am just rolling the same dough recipe I make every single day
yeah,
and I'm just throwing it in the oven till it's brown, putting it in cups and handing it to people.
yeah,
I am not making something I can step back, look at, and be like really fucking proud of.
yeah.
Whenever like a critic comes and they're like, "That right there is the best burger I have ever had in my entire
My
life,"
good sir,
or
you
something
just
like
blew my
that.
cock off.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
it
our
just
friend
doesn't happen.
Ian. He's been working at Applebee's. He's in like lower management there. He's been working there for like 5, probably almost 6 years at this point.
Yeah,
Um, and he says like sometimes he'll just be brought out. He likes cooking. He likes working with food. And even Applebee's isn't like a super crazy establishment, but sometimes
yeah,
he will just be brought out from behind the kitchen so that a customer can tell him to his face that he did a really good job with what he made, and they will just tip him directly or something like that. That I'm sure that's really fulfilling
yeah,
in a way, especially if you like what you're doing.
yeah,
But like straight up, for me personally, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it's like I was listening to a podcast the other day. I don't remember if it was Steak and Eggs.
yeah,
Um, but I wouldn't be surprised at all based on like some of the stuff that they talked about. I think it was the episode that they did most recently with Tips, where they talk about like what they were doing before they started OTK.
Yeah.
And started streaming in general. And I don't remember if it was Tectone or Asmon who said this. I think it honestly might have been Tectone.
Yeah.
He was like
it
at a
sounds like
point.
Go ahead. Sorry.
He was like, I don't remember if he said he was working in food, but he was at a point where he just said like, this is not what I want my life to be. Like, this is not what I want the rest of my days to amount to. This is not what I want to do for the next even one, but like 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30 years of my life. Like, this is not it. And that's like, that kind of really motivated me. And it's like, I've been feeling that, but that put it into words. Like, yeah, like I'm saying, I don't remember if it was him. I don't even remember if it was that podcast. Something that I watched, they talked about it. But whatever I was watching, that person put it into words perfectly. And kind of the mentality and how I've been feeling the past like 2.5, a little more, because like it started happening around the start of holiday.
Yeah.
And then not only was I feeling that, but then the job was also ass.
Yeah.
But I was just like, the job was so ass that I almost had like no time to bitch about it.
Yeah.
like
yeah, you were
when
just
life is so
it.
bad that the overwhelming stress of life being bad distracts you from complaining about how bad life is.
Yeah, you're just going through the day like every single day you wake up, you're like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to tomorrow.
Hey,
and then like tomorrow I'll be trying to get to the next day.
I got like 5 hours of sleep. I'm just gonna go through this day. And you're going through the whole day, you're just like, I just gotta get through this day so I can go to bed. And then like you go to bed and you catch up on the sleep that you had. And so then you wake up that morning and you're like, fuck, I didn't do anything that I like to actually do. But I guess I caught up on my sleep. I just gotta get through this day and then I can go home and play some League of Legends. And you play League of Legends way too long because you're trying to eke out free time. So you skip on your sleep. And it self perpetuates into a sort of like cyclical like routine.
It just snowballs.
Yeah,
and
where you're just
worse. You just feel like more and more shit like slightly, and then you every day you just feel a little bit more like shit, almost unnoticeable until it like you've built the big ass snowball.
Yeah, and we were also working out every single day before holiday season. And we were like fixing our diets, and we were drinking like a lot more water and like cutting out soda.
Honestly, ruined it.
We were doing everything. We were on the whole self-improvement arc, and it all just snowballed in different ways. We started being very stressed, so we started eating worse, and we just slipped back into eating worse, like all of us did. We just slipped back into it.
And you want fast meals so that you can do things that you enjoy doing more, so you have more free time and stuff like that. I feel that that is basically what I was gonna say last night. When you are not fulfilled, when you're not happy with your job, and like it's like a job that we have where it takes 10 hours of our day. Like you wake up and you go, and then you get home, and then if you want to do anything revolving around like improving your life, you have to sacrifice all your free time.
Yeah, all your hobbies.
Because you don't have infinite free time. If you didn't have if you didn't have a job, you had to dedicate 11 hours a day to, because like traveling there and back, plus working there for 10, sometimes more hours.
We're always there past close, at least like somewhat.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's like when you're sacrificing that much of your day, you still need sleep to be a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You are either on your mega grind, which takes a different kind of beast to do, or you are experiencing any kind of joy. And like you can get joy out of your grind. Like you can. That's why I feel like we stuck with it as long as we did.
We were seeing results. We felt better.
We felt good.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's just like, and I can pinpoint every time I've lost motivation. This is something I've actually realized recently, when kind of last night almost in a way, when we were talking about it in the Discord with two of our other friends, River and Ian. It's almost like I'm always like upset that I lose motivation to do things. And I retroactively have traced it to just when I have so many things that I have to do rather than stuff that I want to do to improve my life. The stuff that
Yeah.
I have to do weighs on me, and it gets to a point where you have to sacrifice so much quality of life
Yeah.
to attempt to improve your quality of life.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where it's like, I don't know if I can make the trade
Yeah.
to maybe get somewhere that I might not get to or something like that. It's really hard to throw that away because, like, yeah, it all comes down to that. Like, I could have kept going to the gym happily, or like kept up with the home gym,
Yeah.
and I think that's why the home gym is just gonna be working better for me in general. As I've tried both a few times, and it's just like I feel like currently the way life is, I'll do what I can in a home gym, and I'll try to be happy with that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's better than nothing.
yeah. If I can stay motivated to do it, but it's never like the lack of motivation because like I just like decided or burnt out or decided that like I couldn't or I didn't want to do it anymore. It was more like I felt like I couldn't and still live
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
way. I don't know.
Like no one wants to be the guy in their friend group that their buddies are like, "Hey, you want to play this with us?" Or, "Hey, we're going to see a movie. Do you want to come with us?" Or, "Hey, blah blah blah. Hey, we're going to have a campfire." And you're like, "Oh, sorry. I have to get workout number 3 in for the day." Or like, so like you start to be like, "Okay, I don't
Yeah.
have enough free time to devote to both what I want to do and also spending time with my friends, which can be the same thing at the same time. But at times it's like you want me time, you want friend time, you want self-improvement time, and you also have to work a full-time job. And you also
And you're
have to
working
keep up.
towards something.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing content or you're making a video game,
Yeah.
add that in there too. If you are going to a full-time job, you are coming home, cooking a meal or something, doing a workout, and then showering after your workout, your night is so gone that if you want a decent night's sleep,
Yeah.
and on top of all those things, which should be a
Yes.
part of your self-improvement goals,
Of
to get
course.
a decent night's sleep, if you want that,
It's almost off to bed.
when are
Yeah.
you going to sit down and create content? It's like, oh, that's what my entire off day is going to be doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any time on any other day
So
to sit
it
down
stacks up to
and
where
do this
like
stuff.
everyone looks at it. It stacks up to like, and this is like a thing, like, oh, boohoo, content creators. Oh, boohoo, the ones that made it are like millionaires. But like for everyone who is trying to do content while balancing the fact that they have a full-time job and they are just as much of a normal person as anyone who is like watching, you often get into the thing where you're like, well, fuck, I don't have any free time. Da 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 da. I just want to play games with the boys, or like I just want to watch this TV show that I've been trying to watch. Blah blah blah. Work's wearing on me. I'm stressed. Blah 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 blah. And it's like then you're just like, okay, I will do the content creation move. I will do it all in one day. I will like have an off day. It's my life. And then you sit back, and maybe you haven't actively thought of it. I have, but maybe you still kind of like subconsciously realize it. You're like, I just assigned a job to myself. That's not an off day. I gave myself a work shift for something that
Yeah.
I'm not making money from.
In a way, you like
And
what you're
it's
doing,
like-
and you're furthering your side hustle, which hopefully one day can replace your main job.
Yeah.
But none of that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And when you're not getting like, in a way, like instant gratification
Yeah.
from it,
Likes and subscribes definitely help a
it's
lot.
hard.
Yeah. They definitely help, like, as a small creator, feel motivated. I feel like there was a point in time where I was doing the daily content and I was releasing, the stuff, and I noticed that I had the same people commenting on like every video, and I had more likes in general, and I had more comment interactions, and I saw my subscriber number going up sometimes daily, but like often weekly. Once that kind of like plateaued and I reached about the maximum amount of people I was going to reach with that game specifically because of the way my content was like styled. I wouldn't really reach more people until I started a different game in like a different genre or whatnot, right? So I hit like a plateau, but my series was still going. And I just hit a point where it's like, okay, day 9 with no subscribers. Ooh. Same old commenters, and I love them to death, and I appreciate them. But it's like, it's to a point. Most people don't do YouTube or social gathering for like 2 or 3 viewers, right? Like, it's just kind of the way humans are built. The higher the number is in almost anything in life, the happier you are. Like, the higher your wages, cool. The higher weight you can lift in the gym, cool. The bigger your penis is, cool. You know, like
To an extent.
To an extent. Yeah, there's a limit. That's a topic. But you just want to reach more people, and at least most people who do content. And it can be for personal reasons. It's definitely like, if I could make this my job and subsist off of it, I would happily love to, and I would dedicate a lot more time to it than I do right now. But also, for me, one of the main motivations behind content has always been not just as a career, but it definitely is a career. Never let a content creator try and say that it's not for money, because it is. That's why they take sponsorships and whatnot. Not that that's a bad thing. Everyone on the planet has to live. So, like, yes, it's a career.
You need money.
You need money. It's a
That's
career.
what it is.
But it's
we
also...
could easily have all these same conversations off camera.
Yeah.
But like, we're trying to build something, not specifically, not only for money. Obviously, we enjoy doing it. That's why we're currently doing it, at least even on my own channel. I'm still posting videos. I still haven't reached 100 subscribers in 8 months.
Sure.
I'm clearly doing something wrong.
True. But yes, it is as a career, but also I've always wanted to kind of be that person for someone else, like the kind of people that I had. For people who are around our similar age bracket and kind of grew up with like the early days of YouTube and whatnot, you know, you watched like Smosh or Tobuscus or like any of the Minecraft YouTubers or Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie, or if you knew like the Creature Hub, you had like Kutra, Dan, Uberhaxer Nova, SSO HBKC. These might be names you've never heard of, or these might be names you haven't heard of in years. But these people made a career out of YouTube in the early days, and not only that, but they were people that a lot of people watched, and for big ones like Markiplier still do watch. But these were a lot of people watched these people for entertainment, for joy. There were a lot of people who were depressed and said, like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie or any of the creators I listed helped them through their depression. There are a lot of creators that I, in my day-to-day life, watch and listen to that help me get through my boring, shitty-ass job that I don't like. I want to be able to do that for someone else. I think that's a very gratifying experience, as long as people want to actually listen to me talk or watch me play games. That is why I want to do content. Aside from a career, that's like my number one motivator. I want to be that person for someone, and if I'm that person for like 1 or 2 people, that's awesome. That's great. If I'm that person for like thousands of people, that is a treat. That is a gift. That is something unique that only the modern era that we live in provides. Like, content creators, this is a thing that has only been around for like maybe 20 years at this point. Maybe it's younger than that. but there's always been entertainers, but in a way where you can reach a sort of global audience. This could be viewed in any country in the world. I mean, sure, there's probably some limitations, right? But as a blanket statement, this can be viewed by everyone. And people just didn't have that kind of outreach back then. I think that's like insanely cool. And that's one of the things that drags me towards content personally. So
I think I can describe what you were trying to say about like the numbers are important.
Mhm.
It's like because I feel like everyone, like the average person, would say that it sounds selfish.
Yes.
And it does, even whenever you put it in the context of like it's obvious that everyone has to like make money somehow.
Yeah.
I feel like here's a way to look at it. You have to go to your job. If you don't, you will not make money. You can't pay rent, and you can't live in a structure
and you will
with
die.
4 walls.
Yeah.
You can't have electricity. Like it's all these things, right?
Yes.
You have to go to your job. That is not optional. If you don't have any other way to make money, you have to go to your work. So we go to our job for, we spend like 11 hours there, maybe sometimes more. And that's just a part of life. When you come home, you have a few options. You can be going hard on self-improvement. You can you can work out and then take a shower every day, make sure you're getting 8 hours, sometimes even more of sleep just to make sure you're running at like high intensity. You can obviously make sure you're eating well on there, and just you can do like a bunch of extra shit like meditating, I don't know, just a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
You can go down the rabbit hole. You can go as hard as you want. It's whatever. The downside of doing that is that if you're spending a lot of time doing that, you have very little to almost none or no time working on a side hustle of sorts, like creating content. The problem is you can self-improve, but you're still going to a job every day that you hate, and you're gaining muscle. That's really cool. Yeah. You're eating healthy. That's pretty cool. You feel on average physically better.
Yeah.
But mentally, maybe you even feel mentally better. I'm just saying you are going to a job that you're not fulfilled in, and you're not doing anything to actively try and climb out of that hole. Mm-hmm. Like, you as a person are physically and mentally becoming stronger. That is cool. Unfortunately, the government doesn't hand you money for that. True. Like, you're not working towards any way of getting out of this extremely unfulfilling rabbit hamster wheel that you're in. And so you could do the other option where you come home, you kind of slack on self-improvement. Sure. You feel like ass. You stay up late. You don't get a lot of sleep. You're not really working out. If you do, maybe you can still fit in like a 10-minute workout, like just to like kind of get your body moving, your blood pumping a little bit.
Yeah.
It really depends. You're probably not focused on eating well because you're focused on eating something that's fast and easy, not going to take up a lot of time. Mm-hmm. In some cases, like your hygiene can go down the hole because you're not doing things that like take care of your body. Like you're not showering not that you have to shower every day. There's actually studies that say you shouldn't. But I mean, I just mean in general. In general, your physical and mental well-being can take a dip. The dub, like that is the drawback. The dub, of course, is that you're at least working towards something that like content creation or a side hustle of any sort. Like if you're doing art, if you're trying to do like make a photography business, whatever it is that your side hustle is, you're working towards that, and there is a chance that if you get good enough and you improve enough and more people hear about it and your numbers, like we were talking about, your numbers go up, there is a world where you can actually sustain yourself off of that and get out of the extremely unfulfilling hamster wheel of doing this shitty job that you hate every day. The problem is, obviously, like I said, you will probably be miserable and you won't be taking care of yourself physically as well as you should. Like, I feel like it is so extremely hard to balance those things, and that is why when you're living in the real world, the numbers matter. Because it's like, and that is why, to bring it full circle, why I have been extremely hateful of my job recently. It's just because I hate that I feel like I have such little time to like have a life, have like free time, do all this extra stuff, do the stuff that you said. Yeah. Also commit time to something that gives me like a significant amount of time, like this, where we're probably going on around 2 hours now, like of my night, of our night, after we did what? Woke up, went to work, came home. I did the basement gym. I made us a meal. We came upstairs and we instantly started recording 15 minutes later.
Yeah, we probably not playing games tonight.
It is 11:41 p.m.
No,
I'm going to bed after this. We're probably not playing any video games.
Pack it in. Hey.
And we're not even done. We're probably going to keep talking for a little bit, to make the podcast as best as it can be and really give you guys a banger for a first episode. So you guys can learn a lot about us and we can get all of our topics out of the way that we wanted to talk about. But that's the reality of it. It's like, we came home, we tried to do both. We're kind of successfully doing it.
Yeah.
But something that you want in your life is always going to slip and drop in priority if you're doing the other things. It's either,
of course,
you're doing things that, like, you're getting out of the house, you're doing things you enjoy, you're just pure relaxation, free time. This is for me stuff. And then there's like working towards self-improvement, which, like, let's be honest, that is not like a chore. I mean, it can be sometimes if you view it that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it is something that you actively have to think about and
it takes effort.
Work towards.
Yeah.
It takes effort. Yeah. You're not like relaxing the whole time.
Yeah, like playing 14 hours of League of Legends and doing a full body workout are not the same thing in multiple ways. Yeah. Like, you don't feel the same emotionally doing either. You can be playing League and you're like, this is so fucking fun. I don't know what world you're living in, fairy tale world, but as an idea, you're playing a video game and it's fun, right? Even people who have been working out for years and years of their life, I don't see them lifting weights and being like, yeah, yippee, this is so fun. Like, it's like, it's not the same. It's satisfying to see the results. It's satisfying to see the self-improvement in both your physical health as well as very, very often your mental health, but it's not the same thing as like doing something fun.
Yeah. What's the word for like holding yourself responsible to do something?
Accountability, discipline.
Yeah. Discipline.
Yep.
Even Sam Sulek, well, and various other people will say, even if you enjoyed working out, even if you enjoyed being physically fit and making meals and being healthy, because like in reality you are mentally bettering yourself and getting a decent amount of sleep, it takes discipline to do that. It doesn't take discipline to sit on your couch and watch like 3 hours of TikTok.
It just doesn't.
It doesn't. Like you can just do that.
You can do that every day, chilling. And you probably do. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just chilling. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So like the idea that it takes discipline is proof that it does take work, it does take effort, and you have to be mentally strong to keep motivated with that stuff, even just in general, even if you do have a lot of free time. So especially if you don't, and especially, it's just like, there's like the 3 pillars kind of that I was talking about. It's like trying to get yourself into a position where you're doing something fulfilling, self-improvement, and free time. And I'm sure there's like other very small also that I'm not thinking of, but those are the 3 that we're kind of focusing on. One will always, I feel like, take a back seat as long as you have like a full-time job.
Yeah, set commitments.
Where you have to spend a ridiculous amount of hour, or just like anything in your life where you have to spend a lot of time doing something you don't really want to do,
Mm-hmm.
that takes away from all those other things. Or just if you want to stay hard on like two things, it'll take away the other thing completely.
Yeah. Until you can get to the point
I
where,
feel like this is pretty relatable for people that
yeah,
just like
for sure.
the average person.
Yeah. Everyone who is lower to middle class. If you're rich, this might be, but it's so true. Until you can get to the point where that fulfilling thing is relatively short, like low impact on your day, you do not have the free time necessary to have you don't have the available hours in the day necessary to pursue both the free time that you want, the games, the hanging out with friends, the going out, the doing whatever, and also improving yourself. Many creators are like, listen, while I was trying to make it big, I ate ramen and Domino's every single fucking day. And I sat in front of my computer and I rotted for 18 hours a day. And I have done irreparable damage to my body that I am still trying to fight against to this fucking day.
Or it's like the
But I
Mr. Beast
made it.
/ Tectone thing,
Yeah.
where it's like they will go thousands of dollars in debt
Yes.
trying to make it, and either they make it or their life is so in the shitter completely that it is almost unrecoverable, no matter what they could ever do.
Yeah.
Like aside from winning the lottery, they're either in lifelong debt or they made it.
Yeah. That is just. Go ahead.
Never mind. Yeah, I mean that was the whole point. That was the whole point.
That is such a story. That is a story told so often by so many creators because it's kind of just what it takes to make it in a scene so competitive as this. Like if you want to make it big, that's like even that thing where I was saying like, oh, like the irreparable damage I've done to my body that I'm still trying to fight against. That like came from Tectone. Like when he was trying to make it, he ate so unhealthily. He gained like, I think he said it was like 80 pounds from like when he started content creation to like 2023 or something.
Yeah. And now he's big.
Yeah.
Now the only thing he needs to do is
he talks about it constantly too. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. He actually has time in his day.
Yeah.
That he chooses what he does during his day and when he does it because he has made it.
Yeah.
And like, well, at least for like 95% of things, he chooses when it's going to happen, other than like things with his org and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like his life, if he wants to do something, he can do it. And that is why he is now catching up on fixing his body and going to the gym daily with his buddies, because like he has hours during his day that he can spend not slaving away at his computer, making content and going a few more $1,000 in debt. He just doesn't have to do that anymore.
Real.
Like, yeah. And it's like, obviously like that took a lot. And see, what I was going to say is like, this is definitely not a you should do this, because here's the thing. This is something probably pretty obvious, but like people who do that, where they make the jump and either they make it or they don't, you only hear about the ones that make it.
That made it, yeah.
Yeah, like the ones that don't, you don't hear them because they didn't make it.
Yeah.
Their voices go into the ether and they die there. Just like all of their credit cards and their bank account.
So true. And their house.
Yeah. And it's like those people, you're not going to hear their sides of the story because they didn't make it. They're not here to tell their sides of the story.
I mean, hopefully
you're going to hear about the Tectone and Mr. Beast because they're going to be like, I'm huge now. I can tell my story to millions of people.
Yeah.
And they do. And that's the thing.
And that's like I wanted to round out, I wanted to cap off this specific portion of the podcast that we're talking about.
Yeah,
with saying that like if we were big, if we made it, if we were like one of the GOAT podcasts. We got hundreds of thousands of views, and we had a Patreon, and we could subsist off of this podcast. This ties perfectly into the exact point we're making. We did this after, frankly, one of the worst days we've had at work in quite a while. It was pretty bad, but we made it through. We're mental relatively in check, right? Everything we talked about, having the free time, having the time to better yourself, having the time to work towards your fulfilling, like, your side hobby, what you want to actually do, right? If we made it, our work shift would be 2 hours long. We'd be done. Like, as soon as we stop recording our podcast, we're like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go out. I'm just gonna like go eat whatever I want because I'm rich, and I'm also just gonna like work out when I feel like it. And like, yeah, my day's done. Like 2 hours in, my job's done. I can just go do whatever I want now. Like, if we had made it already,
or we do stuff that like still with our career that we enjoyed though.
Yeah,
true. Like after this, I would just like, because we would record this much earlier in the day because this would be like what we had to do today.
Yeah.
And then I would go and I would record a few videos and I would actually put effort into like editing them, or I would just have an editor and I could spend more time recording actual content, get more content out. That's kind of what I was talking about last night with all the homies, is like, it really does feel like content creation is a snowball.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like a snowball in a way where it's like, when you're small, you're doing everything by yourself.
Yeah.
And I talked about this yesterday where it's like, I gotta do all this extra stuff in my day on top of like trying to improve myself, try to like physically and mentally and stuff like that. And it's just really hard because then like, I feel like I record the videos and I want to make a thumbnail as fast as I can so I can just slap it on the video and ship it out. Because I posted a video, or I was making a video 2 nights ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 a.m. and I was just like, I just made the video, like, can I just put a thumbnail and like, can I just do this really quick? To make a really high quality thumbnail, unless you've been doing it for a while, you probably have a lot of practice. People can just do it really fast. If they have like a formula down and they have like a strategy. Obviously, like things like that, they just suffer. Like quality of titles, quality of thumbnails, things that actually get the clicks, intros to videos, things like that. They all slip when you have to do everything.
Yeah.
When you can get an edit, and like I don't even edit my videos because if I did that, that would add hours onto the production time of each individual video, and I don't have hours and hours to spend on every other video, on like every video that I'm making. Like I just don't have the ability to dedicate that time. But if I did this for a while, and I very slowly, because I don't have a lot of time, but I slowly improved at it, and eventually I got to a place where maybe I could quit my job at least survive off of my content and maybe this podcast. Then I would have more time to spend on that, and everything would go up in quality heavily.
Yeah.
And then you start gaining. I would go from like 5K to 10K subs way faster than I went from 0 to 5K.
Oh, so much faster.
Because I would just have so much time.
It's always like an exponential growth kind of thing. I see it all the time.
Yeah, and then it's like, once you get to a point where you're making enough where you can also hire an editor, so you can basically just record a ton of videos, shoot them out, and then you have like an Asmongold style thing or a Tectone style thing where their channels just drop like 3 videos a day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're going from like 20K to like 20K plus, or I don't know. I mean, these numbers are probably not exactly accurate. I don't know if you could go full time and hire an editor off of 20,000 subs. You'd probably have to be getting a lot of views.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know, you get the point. Like, it's an exponential growth all the way. It's like a snowball. Like, the bigger the snowball is, the more area of effect it has.
Yeah.
So the more snow it can pick up, and it just gets bigger faster.
Yeah.
And like, a channel like Mr. Beast gains thousands of subs every day.
Yeah. And they're like
That
drops of
just
water in his bucket. Like you don't even notice them after a while, you know? Like for him, he's at the point where he's only like, wow, getting a lot of subs when he like reaches another 1 million subscribers. I mean, maybe he notices it more often, but I have to feel like from his perspective,
I feel like
being
creators
like,
are probably more like numbers driven than a lot. I think they talked about that on an episode of Steak and Eggs recently.
yeah,
Where Asmongold, even though he puts out like he streams and then his editor takes clips from his stream
mm-hmm,
of like the entertaining things and things that he reacted to or people he talked to or games that he played or whatever.
yeah,
Post them. He still checks his YouTube analytics like twice a day.
Mm.
I'm like, that's pretty. I do that now, even though I never see the subscriber count move up.
yeah,
I
sure.
do that now, even.
Real.
I'm just checking that. I'm like, anybody start watching me? That'd be nice.
Real. But I mean, I think like we specifically kind of went into like the creator sphere, but definitely like we were talking about earlier, I think this point just kind of applies to all people in like the working class.
In anything they want to do.
It doesn't have
in
to
their
be
life,
content
really.
creation. It can be like you want to be an artist, or you want to be a like compute. You want to like develop your own game, or you want to create computer programs, or you want to be able to like some people have this. You want to be able to like move off of the grid and just live in the fucking wilderness, or like it can be like anything, any like ultimate like that dream that's just been like sitting on your pedestal that you're like, I'm gonna do that one day. That day just doesn't come for a lot of people because of all of these barriers that we've talked about. You know that I mean, it's just
the average person doesn't get over the barriers.
Yeah, and the
I'm not
best,
trying to be the average person.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be the average person. It like listen, it's. I think everyone who has a dream, if your dream is obtainable, and even if I say it's not obtainable, I think still try it because as far as we have learned so far, that is verifiable scientific proof. No matter how you live, no matter how much you worked, no matter what you ate throughout life, no matter what activities you pursued in life, no matter what you do in this life, no matter how you live, you are going to die. And that's dark. That is an uncomfortable statement for a lot of people, but it's true. And I think most people's lives can be enriched having pursued the thing they genuinely wanted to do rather than doing the things that they felt that they needed to do. I think everyone can just be a lot happier chasing that dream. So that's kind of how I wanted to end off this point. I think we are chasing our dream now with this first episode that we release. And I just want to encourage as many people that see this as possible, that connected with our working class plight, pursue your dream. If you were putting it off today, tonight, whenever you're watching this, this is when you start pursuing your dream. Stop putting it off. I think you'll be happier for it.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, forget what I was gonna say exactly, but I do want to bring it up. I thought it was funny while you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
It has been. I don't want. Okay, yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. I don't want this to like sound like this whole section of us talking about this. I don't want this to sound like this was us begging for like subs or watcher or whatever, or like complaining that like we haven't made it yet, even though like we just started.
Yeah.
Like or anything like that, even if this takes a long time. This is just I feel like the perspective of most people in the working class of like having a job that they're unfulfilled with, and they want to they want to pursue something, and the reality of life, the simple reality of life, is that if that doesn't amount to numbers, it's almost like what Asmongold said, where when the Power World discussion was going on, funny enough, he said that even if the game is made by AI art, I'll play it because it's fun.
Yeah.
The thing is that most people, he said something that was very controversial, and he got a lot of flack for it, where he said that the opinions of the artist don't matter. What matters is the people's opinions that are consuming their art. Because you can draw something and... Okay, let's just say I work at an oil rig, and I hate my job at the oil rig. And in my bunk, at the end of my 12-hour shift in the oil rig, I go and I whip out my I don't know, my paintbrushes. I don't know, bro. I whip out my iPad, and I'm a digital artist. I'm trying to get somewhere with that. And I do something, and nobody likes it. The reality is, if nobody buys it, and I think he was a little harsh on the fact that he said it has no value, but it's true that it has no monetary value. It's not going to get you off the oil rig.
Yeah.
It even if it was good, even if it means something to you, even if you think that it's good, if nobody wants to purchase your art, then the reality is that it doesn't get you out of the shitbox. You're still in the shitbox. And that's okay if you enjoyed doing it and it was fun for you. But if you're... Yeah, I mean, the reality is that... Yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that. I mean, people can... It's easy to draw what conclusion we're talking about here. Is like... The thing is, like, we can make this podcast. We can make 100 episodes of this podcast. If we're at 0 subscribers after 100 episodes, the reality is, like, we're having conversations, but we could have done all this off camera. Like, what exactly are we doing here? Like, you know what I mean?
Talking.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
yeah,
we're creating content. We're not creating content for us, or you would just save the video on your computer and we'd watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'd sit in your room. No, we're gonna post it to YouTube, and we're gonna post a clip to TikTok. We want other people to watch it, to have fun listening to us, to comment back, to talk with us and bring up more discussions, stuff for us to talk about together. We want to have like our other friends on, talk to them about stuff. We just want to have fun, and we want other people to have fun too. But the reality is that's like, we hope that something comes of this in terms of monetary value. Yeah. Because it's a podcast.
So that we can continue to pursue what we enjoy. Yeah.
So we can make it better.
The more money we get out of it, the better we can make it. Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah. The more we can do with it. We can eventually we can
the more attention we can
do giveaways.
Do merch.
We can get merch. We can get more. We can get important guests, ones that aren't just our friends. Yeah, we can have a community. We can have
better talking.
So many things will come out of this being successful. But even if it's not initially, you got to keep trying. You got to chase that dream, because at the end of the day,
I would rather keep trying than stick with this unfulfilling job, knowing that I didn't put any effort in to get out.
Exactly.
Like, because if you don't put any effort in, this is going to be your life for 30 years.
Yeah.
Or more, or 40, or 50 years, until you die.
If you're lucky, 70 years of working a job you don't like, if you're lucky. It's you might as well go for what you want to actually do.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I think we're about done here, aren't we? I think it's a pretty satisfying place to wrap it off.
Yeah, we can save what we had planned for.
We had one more thing, but I feel like
I think we can make that into, honestly, spiral a bunch of topics off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously check in one of the future episodes to see that.
Yeah.
I did think that it was funny that today and yesterday somewhat, well, not yesterday in terms of going to work. I guess today more in terms of going to work. Today, I did all that stuff where I went to work and then I did the working out and then I did that. The thing is, I still don't have time for a shower.
Oh no.
I mean, like, I do, but like I'm gonna be cutting back on sleep now.
Yeah.
If I'm getting a shower. I also didn't get any of the thumbnail making things to improve my thumbnails that I was planning on getting done today. It's just like proof in the moment.
Yeah.
And also, Alyssa messaged me, "Hey, just checking in. Are you okay? You seem off." She's probably saying that because I haven't spoken to her once since I got home from work, because I've been focused on like get home from work, do some workouts because I want to make sure that I get those done today. I'll be kind of upset with myself tomorrow if I don't do something like that, because I don't want to just give myself leeway, even if it's a really short thing like it was. Come up here, get changed, went downstairs, made us dinner, and then we instantly started the podcast. And we've been doing that since. One day, I feel like I've, my girlfriend can tell that things are off because I feel like my entire day from start to finish has been taken up by doing something. And now I lacked on something else, as like right here in the moment.
Yeah. So I mean,
forgot to message her.
It's self-evident, but I think the closing statement of the podcast is a kind of inspiring one. Just go ahead and chase your dreams. If you watched all the way through and you've reached this point,
you're a trooper.
You're a trooper. This is a beast of a first episode. But also, if you made it this far, if you've made it this far, go ahead and leave us a comment. What I want you to leave us is tell us what your dream is and what got you to decide that is what you wanted to do. And let me know if this gave you any inspiration on starting that dream. But
I think it'd be really cool.
What?
I kind of interrupted you. You can finish saying what you were going to say.
Go ahead, because I was about to do the outro.
Oh, okay. I was going to say real quick. I was going to say not with anything that we talked about before, but I think it would be cool to do an episode or a few in the future if we get some listeners and commenters. There's this podcast for League called Hotline League, where they basically have viewers of their podcast call in to talk about LCS, which is like the pro league scene. They basically just talk about that on the podcast, but viewers call in with topics that they want to talk about, and they basically raise topics for themselves and the hosts of the show to like kind of like talk about. I think that's actually a pretty cool thing that we could do, since we're such a generalized podcast in the way that we're going to be talking about life, the past, our friendship, redwoods.
Alligators.
Like, just the most random. Alligators.
Which animals are just
video games? True. Video games.
Yeah, video games eventually. We didn't really get there this time, but we talk about video games.
We had a lot of reference.
Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about so many things. I think this is like the perfect kind of podcast where we can like have episodes where we literally just have our real life friends who, even if they're not a part of the podcast at all, like, or doing anything, we just have them on to like have conversations about things that they've been a part of or like talk to us about stuff.
Yeah.
And then also just have viewers on, and then someday have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on, like the craziest range of guests of all time. No, but that would be dope.
Yeah.
Like one day we just have like Aspen going on, and then the very next episode we have Ian, our real life friend, who's just a guy, on our podcast.
Yeah.
And then like the next episode is just like viewers who watch us.
Hell yeah.
We can really do anything with this podcast. We can take it anywhere. It doesn't have to be a duo, funny enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
most of the time, probably.
Sure. Hey, I mean, most of the time, yeah, for sure. But like,
Kind of in
yeah,
the name.
true. Well, we'll always be there.
Yeah.
We'll just bring a friend into our duo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess with all that being said, just remember, chase your dreams. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you did enjoy this first episode of our podcast. Every single one that we receive does help us tremendously, both, for succeeding and also emotionally. Makes us feel good. With that all being said, I hope you guys have a good day or night, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.
See ya.